The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome one and all to today's edition of Pacific414 Pop Talk. Along with our special guest co-host today, the Smoking Patriot, Baron Orman Tagge, and myself, Mike. We welcome you here to this edition of Pop Talk. Now, originally we had several articles we were going to talk about for today's show. However, due to circumstances related to yesterday, the whole program for today has changed. Yesterday in Pennsylvania, there was an assassination attempt on former President Donald J. Trump. And there were also people celebrating this assassination attempt on a former president. That is unacceptable. I don't care who you are. I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. To celebrate the attempt to take a life, even a former president, is despicable. It's disgusting. And to each and every one of those people that posted videos celebrating this, you showed everybody who you truly are. This republic, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Not for some, for all. So anybody who's crying out there saying that Trump's going to take away our freedoms, take a look at what happened yesterday. Take a look at it. Because there are extremists on both sides who want to take your freedoms away. And the first thing they're going to do is take out the opposition. Trump is fighting for this country. He has fought for this country in his previous 4 years as president of these United States. And we all benefited from it. Some of you can say, I didn't benefit from it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you did. Lower gas prices, lower food prices at the grocery store, and many, many other benefits that we all received under his presidency. Now, I will admit, I never was a pro-Trumper in 2016, and I don't claim to be a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an independent. But I step back and I look and I see what's happening to this republic. And there comes a point where you got to put aside the pop culture discussion and you have to get serious. Because yesterday was a threat to all of us. Not just one party, not just the other party, but to all of us. It shows how far some are willing to go to just have this hair trigger explode, have this fuse explode. You think everything's hunky-dory in this country? It's not. It's not. And I, for one, have made my decision on who I'm voting for this November. And if you have any doubts, and also if you don't like it, I am voting for this man. This man has shown courage throughout his presidency, and he's showing courage after yesterday's incident. This man is fighting for all of us, not just some of us, for all of us, so that we can live in this country that we all love. Cherish the freedoms that we all take advantage of. 5 years ago, when I started streaming, I said I wouldn't bring politics onto the show, onto any game stream, any live stream. Well, that has changed because the pendulum has swung. It's time to speak up. It's time to speak out. It's time to show that we are one nation, united. Quit listening to those who want to separate us. And look at information that is available to you. Everybody has access to the internet nowadays. Look at different sources. Gather the information. Sift through all that information. And still make a judgment after you've gotten all that information into your head. Because I will say, I'm no longer going to hold back. If there's something that's wrong, I'm going to speak up about it. And if that offends somebody, well, that's on them. It's not on me. It's on them. I want a president who is strong, who has courage, who has conviction, and who will protect each and every one of us here in this great country. I don't want someone who looks weak to the rest of the world. I want someone who's going to stand up for each and every one of us, no matter what creed we are. I am tired of all the BS being put out there by the media and by members of our elected officials. And I'm going to make a stand. I am not calling for violence. You know how I'm going to make a stand? November 5th. I'm going to that ballot box and I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. And I am doing my part to empty the swamp. I've had friends who have fought for this country, family members who have fought for this country, and I am very supportive of their decision to fight for this country because they're fighting for me. They're fighting for anyone who can't go and fight and protect this great nation. And I'm going to do my part in November by fighting for this country and voting at the ballot box for Donald J. Trump. Patriot, as our guest, if there's anything you'd like to say, please go ahead.
So I have so many thoughts, so many emotions and feelings on this whole thing. For years, and this is available on the internet, okay? All right? And anyone's saying, well, I can't find it. You have a supercomputer pretty much in your hand. You have more processing power with your current version of an iPhone, even if it's a couple years older, than they did on the freaking Apollo missions. Okay? If you were to plug your phone into Apollo 13 or 14, whatever, you have far more processing and computing power in than that entire thing. So I don't want to hear any excuses that I can't find it. No, you're just lazy is what you are. Okay? You're lazy. All right? Now, people have been saying this for years. People on the left. And notice I'm not going to say people on the right, although there are probably a few. I just haven't really bothered to look it up just because of the past 24 hours have been kind of a whirlwind. And the left are making themselves very well known to their intentions and wants and desires. But here's the thing you all got to understand about this whole thing. You don't try and take out a man just because you don't like him. You try and take someone out because he's a threat to you. Now again, whether you're left, you're right, you're independent, I don't care. I don't care. If this exact same thing had happened to Biden, if somebody tried to take a shot at Biden and it hit him in his right upper ear, do you know what I'd say? String that man up from the gallows and parade his body in public for all to see. This isn't a right or a left thing, okay? This is, you do not go after somebody of a political party, okay? You don't. And the thing is that if any of you have seen the videos, and I'm sure many of you have, but on the off chance, maybe you were out camping and you just came back today, or you were on a cruise ship and you didn't have good internet, or what have you. If you watch the videos, Trump had to wheel Trump out of there in a wheelbarrow. You say, wait, I don't remember seeing that in the videos. No, because his balls were that freaking big that when they got him out of there, there was somebody in front of him with a wheelbarrow because his balls were that big. The man literally was just shot. Actually, and twice, by the way. I don't know if you guys have seen the photos.
There's a picture where, of course, you see the shot that grazed his ear.
Right,
but
yes.
Then you also look at his suit. You see holes in the suit. You know what saved his life? A bulletproof vest.
Yep. So that's the thing. Trump was not shot once. He was shot twice, actually. At least twice. We only know of two. The bullet that hit the ear and the bullet that hit him in the chest. Because it's clear where look, okay, that man has probably $10,000 suits, okay? You're not going to put a random hole in a freaking $10,000 suit just for shits and giggles, okay? Let's just call a spade, okay? A hole just doesn't get in your vest just because, oh, I dropped some ash on it from my cigarette. No, okay? That doesn't work like that. So, Trump was shot twice, okay? Gets up, fighting against his Secret Service, and that's a 3-hour rant on the Secret Service I could go down.
Hold up. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the clip where they got him up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play that. Sorry, everybody. Let me get that out of there so I don't play it again.
The joys of live streaming, folks.
And,
working without a net.
And you know what? Kathy, I saw your comment. Never voting for Trump. That's fine. You don't like Trump, and this is just me telling everybody you don't like Trump. Then do what I'm doing in November. Go to the ballot box and don't vote for Trump. I'm voting for Trump, but you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No one's forcing you to vote one way or another. That's what it's about. And
okay. Watch this. And you know what he's telling people? Fight. He's not causing for violence. Regardless of what anybody might think with him saying fight, he's not calling for violence against a fellow human being, against a fellow American. He's telling people, get out there on election day and vote.
Mm-hmm. Fight the good fight.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. We in the United States have a privilege of every 4 years, or even less than that, if you want to go on to your local, state, whatever elections. Every election cycle is a revolution, but it's a bloodless revolution, or should be. And that's the way it should be, because this is where you can oust the person, have an opportunity to oust the person you don't like in that office by a legal, non-violent way. And all it takes is checking a mark or whatever it is that's in your district to do. And that is one of the big joys we have in this nation. And a joy that, shall we say, has been abused, ignored, taken for granted, whichever way you want to have on that. And just like Kathy, I'm not going to hate on her for not wanting to vote Trump. I like Mike. I'm an independent, but I go one step further. I'm a constitutional conservative. That's how I identify myself. And I have voted the whole spectrum in my life. I voted Republican. I voted Democrat. I have voted Libertarian. I have voted for the Reform Party when it was actually out there. So again, across the board, I'm voting for the man, like our founding fathers really. Many of them that wanted. They didn't want political parties. They just wanted you to vote the person. Well, needless to say, old ways of England still stayed in there, and we had our parties back then. It was, your leftovers from the English that were changing over to what we have for our American parties. They want to scream about democracy, but trying to take out your opposition in a violent way is a smear on democracy. It's a huge smear on democracy. You have just unalived someone because you don't politically agree with them and taken another person's opportunity to vote for them. I don't know what's more banana republic, non-democratic way. Now, granted, we are not a democracy. So I'm just using these words as kind of in your face. You that go out there and scream, "Oh, democracy! This is the threat of democracy." We had 4 years of Trump. We survived. Everything that they said that Trump was going to do then, he didn't do. And why would he take up that mantle this other time? And it's like, oh, he contested the election like Hillary. Hillary was out there and
that's
still
his right
is
as the candidate.
Yeah. I mean, she's still out there screaming and hollering how she had the election stolen from her. You had Al Gore back in 2000 doing the same thing.
With the hang chads.
Yep. So, I mean, this is not a new thing for someone going out there and contesting and saying, our lovely media, oh my God, what Trump is saying is, well, remember, Hillary did the same thing. She was out there screaming the same thing. And then having her mysterious walks in the woods where all of a sudden somebody out of nowhere comes up and sees her and gives her a hug. Just amazingly, of course, we find out later it's one of her staff people. Everything was staged, which, of course, most politics is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Lando Malari in Babylon 5, where we wanted to have the photo taken with him in the Technomage, but the Technomage knew what was going on and blew up the recording device. Just because you have a picture with someone does not mean you condone or condemn them. Photo ops happen all the time. Before you know it, someone's right alongside of you getting a picture taken. And then they want to hope that that picture of you and them will boost your palatability, you might say, on the stage. So if you want to play the democracy game, the ultimate way to destroy democracy is to assassinate or see your opponent assassinated. I was a never Trumper at one time. I know, shocking as it may be. I walked up to the Republican booth back in the first time that he was, or actually, technically the second time he was going for it, where he actually did get the endorsement, or I am your, the person running for the Republican, and I was going, what the hell are you guys thinking? I had to be convinced otherwise, and you know what? It was through logic. It was through thought, but yeah, one of the things was on an emotional level. It was by how the press was smearing him so horribly. I mean, absolutely horrible. These people who kissed his ass and wanted to run and be with Trump and be in the circle and go to the fancy parties he was having and be seen with him, whether it's actors, the press, other parts of the media. Now all of a sudden they turned. Why? Well, because he picked the wrong party to run under. I will shock people. I do not think Trump is a Republican. For that matter, I don't think he's a Democrat. He is I would sit back and say the populist person running for it, whether it was the first time or this time. He was a populist president, and he's a populist candidate right now. Because I brought it up before about the parallels between him and Theodore Roosevelt, a man 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, right?
Yep, you even brought it up when we were having our conversation last night at Discord.
Right. that Theodore Roosevelt was, in a sense, a populist president, especially the second time around, because he was voted in as a vice president until McKinley was sadly assassinated. He thought his political career was dead. The Republicans didn't like him. They figured putting him in the vice president spot would kill his career, as did Theodore Roosevelt. It was not necessarily a good thing being a VP. And it's still kind of thought of that way still today. People think, oh, there's the opportunity, but there's also the baggage.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, he was president, and he was vilified by both parties, including his own. He was a man, literally a man without a party, even though he was in a party. So there's that parallel, because look at all the Republicans out there, all the rhinos that were going after Trump during his first 4 years. Mm-hmm. Republicans were just as much of a hamper to him as were the Democrats. It's amazing he got a lot of things through that he did that made our life better. And yes, they did. That's not deniable. You might not like the man. But again, prices for things were down. The world was afraid of us, as they should be. And not the fact that we're going to go out and just invade them out of nowhere, but we're going to kick your ass if you try to do anything against us.
You just harm an American citizen, we'll come back.
Right.
We'll take care of you.
Right. Just as Theodore Roosevelt made known all those years ago, sending out the Great White Fleet, not to incite a war, but to keep wars from happening, and letting the world know, yeah, we are not pussies anymore. And I mean, and for anybody, that's pusillanimous, not a vulgar term for a woman's private part. And in many ways, that's what Trump did. You had the hacks out there going, well, who, after getting shot, would do a fist bump like that? Obviously, it's fake. Well, let's take a look at it. Andrew Jackson almost beat a man to death with his cane when someone took a shot at him, and he was hit with a bullet. Theodore Roosevelt was shot, and he continued with the whole speech that he had, and then, of course, made it known that, I have to kind of end it because I've been shot, and he shows the blood of his wound. So, yeah, you've had people like that, and strong people. Andrew Jackson, despite what you think of him, because I know he's been vilified, but good old Andrew Jackson was a tough old bird. The man who was attacked by the British when he was a kid, had the scar because he had a saber across the face, fought in the French Indian War. This man was tough. There's a reason why he was called Old Hickory. Let's just put it that way. Theodore Roosevelt, again, a man who had asthma, leaving New York and going into the wilds of the West, living amongst these hard-working cattlemen and such. Then, of course, being a Rough Rider. This man was tough, even though he had health issues himself. You would never have guessed it. They were not a crutch to him. So, is Trump personally likable? Well, there are people that sat back and said when they have met him, they were expecting one thing, but they found out he was another. I can't that. I don't know.
And let's not forget how the media made fun of him when the government shut down, and he gave the basketball. Was it the basketball team or a football team? Where he gave them McDonald's.
I want to say that was, or it might have been a football team.
Football.
Actually,
I think it was football. Yes.
I think it was wasn't it? It wasn't. I don't know if it was an NFL team or if it was a college team. I think it was a college team.
I think it was a
Yeah.
college team.
It was college. Yeah.
I don't remember which one, but yeah, he essentially had like it was like a buffet style, and he had like everything from the McDonald's. He pretty much cleaned out multiple McDonald's of food essentially.
Yeah.
And like, you know, all you want, take stuff home. Go ahead.
And you know what? They liked it. Because they're
Mhm.
not people that's used to pomp and circumstances. He basically gave them a meal of the people. That was probably far more memorable. And, you know, the one thing you never heard was the media going out there saying they were complaining about it because they weren't.
No.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, okay? And this goes off of what Barron was saying with the whole McDonald's and Trump thing. And I remember hearing that too. The media was like, "Oh, you gave these guys disgusting food. You give McDonald's, is so unhealthy." But imagine you're a college guy and you're sitting at a big old table, okay? And you got Trump and you're both eating Big Macs and you're eating the fries and you're drinking a Coke and you're sitting next to the President of the United States who also is eating a Big Mac with fries and you're just talking. You're not having, "Oh, my steak is not cooked well enough. These truffle mashed potatoes are so..." No, you're like, "Hey, I got a Big Mac in one hand and a handful of fries in the other, just like my president right now." You're telling me that's not a memory you ain't gonna remember? You'll be like, "It's McDonald's. We know it's not the most fanciest of foods, but I'm sitting down eating a Big Mac with the President of the United States."
Exactly. You're sitting down, you're having a conversation with the leader of the free world.
Yep.
Absorb whatever information he gives you.
Well, and a billionaire, a man who's been a cultural icon for decades. And he's sitting there eating food with you like the common man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want from my president.
Yeah.
If I went to the White House, I would sit back and say, can we skip to McDonald's and go for the Burger King? I like Whoppers.
You want to know?
Yeah. I still wouldn't turn down
something?
McDonald's.
I was on a stream last night, and one of the panelists on there actually went up to Ground Zero after the 9/11 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Took his welding equipment with him so it can help cut the metal, help clean up the area. And he was there for 30 days. And Donald Trump came down to Ground Zero. Wasn't wearing a mask, wasn't wearing any kind of protection. He came down there, he shook that gentleman's hand and said, "Thank you for coming to help us."
Yep. Oh, there was and you can actually find this video footage. It might take a little bit of digging to find it, but there's actual video footage of it wasn't like day after 9/11. It was like 2 or 3 days after. You see Trump and his security personnel. They're down there at Ground Zero, and Trump he paid for with his own money. By the way, I think he hired like 100 or 200. He hired a large group of guys, paid for with his own money, and he basically said, "You guys are going to help rescue efforts. You guys are going to help rescue efforts." Like, again, you can love or hate Trump. There are people who hate Trump because they're like, "Oh, he's too offensive on Twitter." I'm like, honestly, seeing Trump's tweets were probably some of the highlights of my day because they were just like, he's just speaking his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He's just speaking his mind, which was nice and refreshing because when Chaos Pacific and I, when we would play War Thunder, okay, we spoke our minds. We were unfiltered when we were in the middle of tank battles and what have you. Now, just imagine if you're in that same setting, okay, and you hear, "Oh my God, I can't believe that M4 Sherman just blew up my tank. What, you son of a, oh my God, that's it. I'm buying the next tank up. This guy is going to die." Like, imagine hearing that. That's what I think of how Trump would be.
Here, I'll do you one better with my voice mod app.
Oh, come on.
Oh, and while he's doing this, I got to say this. Jace, don't make this about politics. Don't make this about politics, Jace. Come on, we're better than that. I'm kidding.
Come on. I can't believe you just shot me with your tank. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Everybody saw it. Everybody saw how ridiculous that was. That's it. I'm not getting the best take I could ever find here in this game, and I'm coming after you. That's right. You're mine, pal. Don't forget it.
Imagine, okay, let's just go, just roll with me on this. Just imagine if we were in the Star Trek universe, okay? Trump, I'd probably put more to kind of like a Klingon in a way. Like, I could just imagine him just like, he just got shot. He's like, "Listen, okay, those Romulan scum, okay, that disruptor technology, pathetic. Look at them. They can't even aim right, okay? That thing was probably made by some third party wannabe, okay? They import their disruptors. They're that terrible. Look at this here. You see, you patak.
Well, I can do you one better. This is Captain Validate Grub at the Starship Freedom. You brave threats against me by crew of the Federation, and we will not allow it. Now you have 10 seconds to alter your course and head back to the neutral zone, or else we're going to fire some photon torpedoes. We're going to fire them. We're going to fire them real close. You're going to feel the heat. You might suffer some damage, but hey, we're warning you. I shouldn't even have to give you a warning. But I'm trying to be diplomatic here. You know, show you some courtesy, give you a chance to live. But just know, you never mess with the captain of the USS Freedom.
Yeah. And to everyone listening, you know, this is still a very serious time. Like, Trump's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
He's probably taking today and maybe tomorrow to rest, you know, because
he was tried, according to some reports, to go to the UFC event last night.
Which he was, I guess he was planning to, but he's probably like, you know what? I'm gonna rest, because I mean, just imagine the level of adrenaline that was flooding his body. You know, the amount of adrenaline. So he probably, and honestly, if you were just shot in the ear, you can't exactly stitch that up. So he's probably got gauze and all sorts of other stuff. He's probably just taking a day to rest, kind of like let everything kind of mellow down, you know, kind of just rest, maybe get a little extra sleep, kick back, maybe. So, I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. But here's the thing, is that in this very serious time, this is something, and this is something unique that, and Baron and Mike, you can correct me if I'm wrong in this, but when it's dark times, when I'm hanging around other guys, we embrace comedy.
Right.
Whether it's dark, lighthearted, messed up, doesn't matter. But when I've been around other guys and it's been a really dark time, like, we always kind of resort back to comedy as a way of lightening our spirits. Even though the mood is dark, the air is dark, comedy's always that one thing that brings a little smile to your face and helps you realize, you know what? The world is still spinning. The oceans aren't barren wastelands. You know, aliens aren't invading right now. Everything's okay at the moment, even though it's a very serious, somber time. You know, we're alive and we're okay. It's kind of like that. You know, I noticed this.
It is, and that's exactly what I told Baron last night when we were having a conversation. Cash was there, Bill was there too, and I said to him, there are times I've used comedy as a way of dealing with what just happened, as a way of processing everything that just happened.
Well,
yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, Baron. Go
well,
ahead.
the big thing is our defense mechanism. We use that in a serious time to help us cope and get through it. Now, there's a couple ways of doing it. Tasteful or not tasteful. We men, of course, like to go with the non-tasteful when we're together. But as that goes, that is natural. I mean, I remember when the space shuttle went boom, they came out instantaneously with a joke. What does NASA stand for? Needed another 7 astronauts, right? Distasteful and all that. But the thing is that's part of that defense mechanism. You say something like that because you're still in a bit of shock over everything that's happened. And thank God that Trump was not killed. It's horrible that an innocent life out there died.
Yes, and others were wounded. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget that.
You fucking vultures that try to sit back and say this was a hoax and that look, nobody got hurt behind him. It's a hoax. That's a blood capsule. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
CNN. And CNN. We all saw the clip of CNN.
Yeah.
Downplaying it like it was nothing. A big nothing burger.
Trump's speech interrupted by Secret Service. Oh, really? Oh, really? If this was Biden, and thank God nothing like this has happened to Biden, and I don't want anything like this to happen, they would have been plastering all over the place. And you would have, constant coverage about, how he was shot and how we have to look at, all this other fact. No, instead, of course, the vulture piece of shits out there, which is why we need to trust bust, by the way. If you want, quote unquote, democracy, it's time to trust bust the media. We need to tear it apart, and that's not to destroy the press or any of that. It's actually to save it.
Yeah, I'm going to mention what I mentioned during our stream on Thursday. You look at the media, and it's controlled by News Corp. It's controlled by Disney. It's controlled by Time Warner.
If he didn't like William Randolph Hearst, of course, you had the yellow journalism. Now he owns so many papers and influenced people left and right, which of course was the basis of Citizen Kane. I'm sorry if I went back far too far in time, but look it up. It's in the book. Especially his palatial estate in Xanadu. Sorry, calling it Doomcock's place of abode. But look at how they thought that was horrible. That he had so much press, and he was able to stifle Orson Welles' film that was critical of him.
And I want to bring up something I just found on Twitter, thanks to Libs of TikTok. This is absolutely a disgusting headline.
Trump says he was shot in the ear.
He was shot in the ear. That's where the blood was coming on from, you dumbasses.
And that's just it. I mean, they're sowing in doubt, and of course that's the little print there. But the big print is gunman dies in attack. Well, good. I know that was cruel of me, but no
save the taxpayers some money.
Yeah, no tears for an attempted murderer.
Nope.
No, sorry, not an attempted murderer. He was a murderer.
Yep.
One person's
he
head
was.
brains were blown out, literally.
Remember that emergency room doctor said when he got to him, they tried performing CPR, but unfortunately, it wasn't going to be possible to revive him because there was already brain matter coming out of his head.
Yep.
Yep.
The man or woman, I don't know if it was a man or a woman.
It was a man. It was a gentleman.
It was a man. Okay.
Unfortunately, the gentleman lost his life.
Right.
He lost his life going to support his candidate. Mm-hmm. You don't want that to happen on any rally. I don't care if you're voting for Biden this November. I don't care if you're voting for Trump this November. You don't want anybody to go to a rally for their guy and lose their life.
Right.
Yep. And let's also not
of shit Denver Post. You fucking piece of shit Denver Post. Go fuck yourself. Eat a bag of dicks.
Well, I mean, here's the thing at the end of the day, okay? Is that this is where people have to be diligent. So,
yeah.
So many people. Sorry, hang on a second. Swig of water. This is what.
By the way, just go on. Sorry,
no,
I was
go
going to
ahead.
say something while you're drinking. I was going to say, of course, Smoking Patriot is our beloved Alex Jones here on Pacific414. But back to you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
and just real quick, yeah, that is something we are going to address probably near the end of the show. The passing of Shannon Doherty, Richard Simmons, Shelly Duvall, and of course Benji Gregory. You know, yesterday especially was just fucked.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Let it be known that 7/13 of 2024 was a shit ass day because we lost a lot of people in the pulp culture. And of course we had this incident.
And we had this incident where an innocent family lost the innocent bystander who I don't know all the details, but probably had family of his own.
Yep.
And now there's an empty seat at the table.
And
there's a void.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We're going to talk about Dr. Ruth as well. I mean, just so many people have passed this last week, and especially yesterday. It started to list everybody down. But I'll bet you it won't take a hard search on TikTok or whatever. That sit back and say, good, that guy died because he was supporting a monster. I wish I was saying I was being facetious.
You're not. Thank you for the cue, Baron. Really appreciate that. Let me go ahead and bring something up. Because you know that all three of us, Baron, Cash, myself, even Patriot, we like Star Trek. We like its positive message.
Right.
Well. There's someone I had respect for. Keyword, had respect for. But he has shown his true colors.
Tim Russ. Isn't that Tuvok?
Yes.
Yeah. It's everybody's favorite Vulcan, Tuvok.
How did Bones refer to Spock at times? You pointy-eared bastard.
You pointy-eared, green-blooded son of a bitch.
There you go. That sounds about like an adequate description. Even the green blood part. I'd go with.
Are you saying? Are Alex Jones? Are you saying that he's one of the freaking the frogs that Did the chemicals turn freaking gay? Is that what you're trying to say?
No.
That's why he's got green blood?
No, he's one of the lizard people, okay? He's one of the lizard people, okay? They live in the
Oh,
center of
yeah.
the hollow earth, okay? About 1,200 miles down, okay? They come up every couple of years, okay? Little scouting parties, okay? And they walk amongst us. Oh, Mark. Okay.
I didn't see Hamill's response. Not that I was looking for it either.
You would know that Mark Hamill would say
he's a twat waffle.
Yeah, again, don't ruin our heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I almost said a word you didn't like, and I'm talking about the harsh version of that with him. But
I mean, well, Baron, take this one time. Take this one time. I will allow it.
Oh, you're giving me the R card? Oh, thank you. Mark Hamill's a fucking retard. Thank you for letting me have that R card. I use that word in a more appropriate way. I'm talking about the full form of it.
Yeah.
But in this case, because of my contempt for that motherfucker, Mark Hamill, you're no Luke Skywalker.
Nope.
Ooh,
he was good in the role. He was good in the role, but guess what, Mark? You're anything but a Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all you gotta do is just say Mark Hamill, and anybody who knows anything about him, who disagrees with him, just rolls their eyes. They're just like, oh boy, not this again. What did he say this time?
Well, you haven't said exactly what Tim Russ said. We kind of got sidetracked here. My apologies. Let's hear what that fucking moron has to say.
Let me go back to it.
Yep. And then you can contrast that with the other. Oh, Street Fight Hard?
Yeah.
Man, you got an interesting Twitter.
I mean, take your pick, Baron. I mean, look at all this.
Yeah. He went on a fucking rant. And, really, honestly, this is going to be extremely clip-light show, but this is for you, Tim Russ. This is for you, Mark Hamill. This is for you, the cackling hens of the View. This is for you, all you pieces of shit out there in the industry.
How many of you think the opinions of actors should be valued as much as, well, say, doctors, engineers, or a courageous congressman?
Right here. Yeah, right on.
Well, you're wrong. Actors are self-centered punks.
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, Tim Russ says, well, apparently the shooter is a member of the NRA, and apparently he is white, registered Republican, not an immigrant, not a Democrat, not a drag queen. MAGA Fox is not going to be very happy.
Except, oh, yeah. Come on.
He also says that shot was 100 to 200 yards away, 150 yards away, Tim. That was a military assault rifle. That's what a military assault rifle can do.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll beat you to it because I said it beforehand. No, that's not what a military assault weapon does. They're made for up close and personal combat. That is what a hunting rifle can do, which the military converts into something called a sniper rifle.
Here, 100 to 200 yards. Okay. You could do that with a 22. And if anybody has ever shot a gun before and has shot a 22, okay, that's a tiny little bullet with a tiny little shell casing and not a lot of powder. You could still, if you're proficient enough and you know how a 22, it's everything about it, okay, and you got the right setup, you could do that with a 22, no problem.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It would require a lot of training. But here's the funny thing is Tim Russ wants to go off on this guy. Just because you're registered Republican doesn't mean anything. Because here's the thing. Tomorrow, I could go register as a Democrat and vote for Republicans. So on the books, I'm a Democrat voting for a Republican, and I could do that every time. So just because you're registered as something doesn't mean anything to me. It really doesn't, especially nowadays. But the funny thing is that what was released about maybe two and a half hours ago, the rifle that this kid had, it was his dad's. He didn't even buy this one.
Yep, and that's what Shay just brought up. That's what Shay just brought up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that too is you can people have done this where you register for the other party so you can go into the primary and try to sabotage.
Yep.
I'm going to go in there and make sure Trump doesn't get in there I will put my vote for DeSantis or somebody else, right? They do that to, they want to try to get that weak vote. It's done by both sides, right? This is one of the games. So you can beat. But the thing is it is proven he's Antifa. He had video out there saying he hates Republicans.
Well, and he also, and even before he registered to vote, when he was 17, he donated to Act Blue, which is a progressive activist organization.
Radical.
This is 17, not able to legally register to vote yet. Okay, can't buy it. Can't really do anything really at 17. He donated. Now it was only like $15 or $20. So, but the monetary amount isn't the thing. It's the fact that at 17 he donated money to Act Blue, which is a progressive activist organization, which is known to work very closely with the Biden administration. So before you can even register to vote, you do that. Then when you turn 18, you register to vote. You register to vote Republican. Okay.
Right.
Well, how many times throughout history, when you had the all the wars with the French and the British, you're telling me that there weren't French guys out there who could speak perfect English, who, they'd go and act as regular members of British society and vice versa? This is a game as old as time itself, essentially. Acting as the other party to get information, cause a little havoc. This is as tale as old as time.
Right. Well, it's being a spy or going in and trying to sow discontent or, it's all part of the game.
Yeah.
Right. And, at least, I rather see that, than actually someone going out there going pew, 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 as I think one of the pathetic news agencies was saying. Pew, pew, pew.
Well, I know
there's a BB gun.
Some twat on TikTok was doing that.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah, the Billy Piper lookalike.
Yeah, when she was freaking out about the fact that Trump still lives. It's like those kind of reactions just have blood boiling. It's like a person's life was lost in all this.
Right.
Have some sympathy.
I mean, I normally don't do what would you say? When they have the comment sections on these sites, I generally don't do that because I try to stay above the fray. But the one that they had on CNN, and especially when they sit back saying about the Secret Service interrupted his speech. I went in there, and there was a lot of other people going in there and just flaming CNN, flaming. Of course, you got the other ones in there going, "Oh, he needed to be a better shot." Yeah. It's like
I've seen those videos. I've seen those comments.
Yeah. He should have been. We should have done a better job, stuff like that. And I just basically put the comment in about basically this is showing us the effing. Because you have to do it that way. Basically violent, repugnant way people are, and of course, F you to CNN. And I'll say it, but I won't candy coat it like I had to do in that comment section. Fuck you, CNN. Okay, now I got that out of the way.
Well, remember when I showed you? their front page headline.
Yeah.
Trump was in a small box.
Yep.
The assassination was in the small box. That should be front and center.
Yep. But no, the killer, the shooter was killed. Oh no. Hopefully he'll get a posthumous medal. And the guy is Antifa. The guy is Antifa. Don't try to hide it. He was Antifa. But that's only an idea. Bullshit. So, but then people responding, the typical leftist loonies that they had in there, and they go, well, yeah, you've Biden, how would you be? And it's like,
we would be devastated as a country.
Yeah, I would be. I do not wish anybody, especially those that are my political on the other side of the aisle, to have this fate. I guess that makes me far different than you. Oh, Jet Sparks. The second oldest profession was prostitution. The third is dirty politics, and dirty politics is the third one. Just take a look at Cain and Abel. Look how the deflection that Cain was trying to have after he killed Abel. Actually, it might be the first, because look how deflections that Adam and Eve had against each other. So yeah, this goes back to the dawn of time.
This goes way back. It's nothing new. It's been happening for centuries now.
Mm-hmm. Back when it was amoeba going after amoeba.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the ones that decided to stay in the water and the ones that decided to walk out of the water. I mean, it goes back to that. I mean, it's because politics is something that's, whether we like it or not, is in our everyday life. What do I mean? Well, simple. I mean, you have your politics of being at home. You have politics of work. You have politics and religion, because you sit back and what does this mean, as us Lutherans like to say. But yeah, politics permeates everything. This is just a larger version of politics.
Mm-hmm.
And one guy got killed because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is what Tim Russ initially said after the attempt was made on Donald Trump's life. Trump apparently was grazed by glass from his shattered teleprompter, but he will say he was shot 10 times by a 50 caliber and then got up and karate chopped the next bullet and then beat up the shooter, and MAGA will buy it. Trump,
you're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You're spreading lies. It was not glass from the teleprompter. Of course, let's go with the lie again. As you were saying, Mike, and I didn't know that until really now, when we started the show, about the holes being in his suit and his bulletproof vest protecting him.
You think he's just going to go out there on stage and not put on some kind of bulletproof vest for protection?
I mean, I hope Biden wears a vest, but I've seen pictures of him at his rally. He's just in his shirt. It's like, no, he's not wearing one. It's easier to hide that under a suit than what Biden goes out with. Well, I hope people in the White House start considering maybe we should do this for Biden. Have him wear, more formal out there like Trump does, so we can hide the protection better. And that also goes for RFK Jr. or whatever.
Who doesn't have any Secret Service protecting him at all. He's going out there with no protection, none. That's inexcusable in itself. Because the way I've always understood it, anyone who is running for president, who is a candidate, is provided Secret Service.
Yeah, even if it's the cross-eyed DEI hire, they get somebody. I mean, remember, this is a guy whose uncle was murdered, his father was murdered, his other uncle almost murdered. Despite what you think of, especially Teddy. But the thing is you had all that around his life. Wouldn't you think that him going out there doing this, that it would be even more important, because especially the name recognition? Yeah, I mean, granted, he stands little to no chance. He's no threat politically to anybody right now. Nobody. But still, why play that game? You just make sure, because you never know.
Yeah, it's and by the way, just as a slight update, so that gentleman that was killed, I guess it was shielding his wife or something like that at the Trump rally. They set a GoFundMe goal of $7,000. Within less than an hour, it's already cleared 232,000 and is still climbing.
Good.
So,
are you able to put the link to the GoFundMe if it's provided in that article in the chat?
Let me see. I think somebody here on Twitter, somebody just did a screenshot, but I think give me a a minute. Yeah, I'll dig and find it.
Take your time. Take your time.
And the thing is don't be surprised if Trump gives support in one fashion or another to that family, because he has done that before, despite what people want to say. He has done stuff like this before. People forget the nice things that he did. Now, again, like I said, he is what shall we say? No, yeah, 20 years, that can be a long time for some people.
It can.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, between, Trump and Biden and all that, 20 years, that puts them either knocking at 100 or over 100. So, and again, it's not ill wishing. It's just, these are facts. So, 20 years is definitely a significant amount of time. More than likely, these people will be off that duty far sooner than 20 years. Yeah. But look at the different dynamics. I mean, Trump 3 years younger than Biden. A bullet grazes his ear, and it appears that he was actually hit in vital areas that a bulletproof vest protected him from. Thank God. And he was able to be tackled down. He gets up. He's in back telling the people, "Let me get my shoes on. Just let me get my shoes on, right?" And then gives the fist. Hey, we're not going to be fucked over.
No.
Basically, and what would that have been with Biden? I mean, I would be afraid of tackling him down for his safety, because he looks so frail. So, again, look at between the two men with their health and how they are. No one can sit back and say that Trump is some demented. What they've been saying, telling us Trump is, that Biden is, right? This absolutely shows right there the resilience he has. Again, I don't want anything like this to happen to Biden. Definitely not. Like I said, Secret Service, have a nice long talk with everybody and say, no, Joe's got to wear the vest. And
speaking of the Secret Service, what about the Department of Homeland Security?
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't they be keeping an eye on this? Shouldn't the FBI be keeping an eye on stuff like this? CIA? Yep. I don't care what. Again, what political leanings you have. You have a former president out there, and you allow a line of sight to be that exposed?
Yeah, that's what they get. That's what we get for them putting the DEI hires out there for protective. But and it's been made known there's going to be some discussions, and I don't think it would be pretty. I didn't mean to do the upswing on that one, but still, it's not going to be pretty, and it's already been made known that, and people are calling for heads to roll on that, figuratively, YouTube. Within the,
They're calling for folks to resign, YouTube.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And not if not resigned, we want them fired.
Yep.
We want them out of there. They're incompetent. So it might be more insidious than that. And yeah, people are thinking that, and I don't blame people for thinking that. If it was the other way around and Biden was running away with this, and they tried everything to get Biden out of the race and it didn't work, and this happens, I would say the same thing. Something smells funny. Something's rotten in Denmark. Right? I'm not implying that Biden had anything to do with it or whatever, but I'm just saying I can see where people would see that, and rightly so. And people shouldn't be assaulted for thinking that way. As I always sit back and say, you got to put every option on the table, no matter how slim the possibility is.
Well, getting back to Tim Russ's tweet, look at his tweet. Look what he said. And then let's see what his co-star, Roxanne Dawson, who played B'Elanna Torres on Star Trek Voyager, says. Look, neither presidential candidate is an existential threat. We win, we lose, we compromise. We figure out a way to get along and move this country forward. If you keep talking like the world is going to end if you elect the other guy, this is what happens. It happens because the media has wound people up.
Well, look at the moron. Look at the moron down there right away.
I know.
By the way, I don't know how you say your name, but this is for you. Fuck you. Okay, back to you, Mike. I'm gonna be saying that a lot today.
Mike, I check your Discord.
Got it, brother.
Oh, there's Discord, all right. Oh, you mean this? Oh, you mean the platform? See what I did there,
yes.
Folks? See what I did there, folks?
All right. Thank you for providing the link, brother.
Yep.
Again, having that levity in a horrible situation.
Yep.
Look how young the guy was. I'll show it to you guys in a second.
Who are you talking about? The shooter or the one who unfortunately got
the victim?
Got shot?
The victim.
The victim. Okay. Because the shooter was young.
I don't give a fuck about that guy. I don't give a fuck about that guy.
No, but the point I'm making on that one is he's so young. How much poisoning of his brain? Oh my word.
Yep. So this is the guy who died, and the one next to him is his daughter.
What a lovely young lady there. Oh, I feel sorry for her.
Yep.
You lost your father.
Yep.
In a senseless way.
Yep. So she'll never get her father walking her down the aisle on her wedding day. She'll never get that father-daughter dance. Now, I guarantee you there's probably a father-like figure in her life, whether it's a brother, uncle, granddad, what have you, that will probably gladly step in that role. And that'll probably be memorable, but she'll never get that actual experience of certain events in her life, having her father experience them with her.
It's not the same. It's not the same. I mean, they were only asking for $7,000 in this. Only $7,000.
And that's
Mm,
probably
where's that?
just for the funerals costs, probably.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that sounds about right. Because
Which,
Yeah.
if you ask me, I think the federal government should give these people the 5-star creme de la creme funeral treatment on the government dime, personally. But
yeah. I mean, I would not mind my
That's
tax
something
money
I
going
don't
to that.
mind my tax money going to.
no, you know what? I will start a GoFund. I will start a petition on that one.
Yeah, I'd sign it. Look at that. Anonymous, 25,000, which means
Mhm.
they're giving and they don't want it to be about them.
Yep. Now there is another GoFundMe. Supposedly, it's been authorized by President Trump to create this GoFundMe. Supposedly, and it's a general fund that will be distributed to all victims. There is that one on GoFundMe too. It's on the main GoFundMe page. So if you wanted to,
Let me
help all,
go to the main page and
it was at least when I looked, at least on my phone. So I don't know if.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Not gonna lie, Mike. It looked completely different when on my phone. The mobile version looks so different.
It always does.
Right.
It always does. But
Yeah.
I second that, Jace. It breaks my heart too. I mean, seeing that lovely young lady next to her father, and she will never hear him say "I love you" again.
Mhm. She will never get to hug him.
Or get the hug, or be told you're my little sweetheart. Like I say to my kid. I mean, that's how I always tell the blonde-haired mop. I say, "You're daddy's little sweetheart," and she goes, "I know." It's like, so whatever it is that he has, she'll not hear it again.
Mm-hmm.
His wife will never hear him say "I love you" or hold her hand or hug her. And yeah, I'm going to go this way: be intimate, because that's being intimate is a way of communion between a couple, the passion of love. Then
All right, Mike. I just sent you the other one.
Thank you, brother.
Okay.
Yep.
No, amongst all the other ones, like I said, the simple act of holding the hand, or the simple kiss of a forehead, or whatnot, it don't matter. His wife, who he was protecting, if she had any doubt that this man loved her, that is gone in a heartbeat.
He risked his life to save her life because he took a vow.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the vow that men take. When women sit back and go out there and say, "Oh, yeah, I don't want to honor and obey." Oh, that's horrible. But the men have the same one.
It works both ways. It works both ways. It's not a one-way street.
Right. And this man showed it with the ultimate.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show the other one on the screen. I've already put the link into both chats. So.
And what a good image to use for it too. The show the impetus behind it all.
Yep.
This is.
We're using it today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because this is going to be an image that's going to be burned in for a while, just like the image of Reagan being shoved into the limo when the assassination attempt was done on him. The pictures of JFK moments before he was shot, and even after he was shot, sitting in the car. Our LBJ taking the oath on Air Force One. I mean, these are going to be iconic images for the ages. And what better picture than that? Letting people know I'm okay, and let's keep the fight going. We're not backing down.
Yep. And here's the thing that I want people to understand, okay? even if you're not, even if you do not like Trump, okay, which some people have legitimate, genuine reasons, okay? I could probably
Yeah.
debate you on them, and it would be a spirited back and forth, good faith debate. We could have that. And there are some people who literally just like, oh, I don't like him because of a mean tweet. It's like, oh my God, seriously, you are the most pampered, first world, spoiled brat on the face of the earth.
Well, they spew out something where they wish someone to die.
Well, yeah. But the thing is with this whole thing is I want people to remember and understand. Even if you are not going to vote for Trump because you have fundamental disagreements with him, you should still support him from the aspect of the people on the left, which again, there are montages of, there are still people saying this essentially, where they're like, we want him dead. We want him out of the picture. So even if you do not like Trump from a fundamental, genuine disagreement, you should be pissed off with the other political party because their people are spewing this stuff, flaming the hatred, flaming violence, and they go unchecked. At least on the right, when I'm in these chat rooms and I'm on Twitter and I'm on these various places and I hear somebody on the right who's AKA says they're right wing, obviously you can't know from just strictly online, but they'll say, oh, I want to go do this to this group of lefties or this group of this or this group of that. All of a sudden, people be like, dude, like, if you were to try and do that, I'd be the first one to drop you. And I'm not talking with my fist drop you. I'm talking with something else that fires a little lead projectile at about 1,500 feet per second. Like, I'm like the right at least keep their own in check enough to where there's self-accountability. The left don't even have that. And again, I'm not trying to make this a political issue, but when one side calls for violence and the other one doesn't, and a man on the right is shot, even if you do not like Trump, you have to look at the other side and say, y'all need to calm the F down. All right? Calm the fuck down, okay? Because if we want this quote-unquote country to survive, we can't be calling for each other's political opponents to be shot. That is unacceptable at that point. We devolve into anarchy. And I don't think people want to see what anarchy looks like. You don't want to see what that looks like. It's going to be very brutal. It's going to be very violent and very bad. So.
Well, and it's not just going to affect one side. It's going to affect everybody.
Oh, yeah. It's going to affect everybody. Like, you could say, oh, well, I'm for women's rights, or I'm for children not being, slave labor, or this or that. Guess what? All of it goes out the window. Because when it's anarchy, the strong who put out the most force, they will be the ones to dominate. And everyone who's like, well, I don't like this or I don't like that, guess what? They'll put you in chains and drag you behind them. They don't care.
Well, which is about one step behind a true democracy, because again, that's a form of mob control. We outvoted you, so we get to do whatever we want. So we're wolves, and we won. You sheep are our meal. That's why we're not a democracy. That's why we're a republic, because of abuse. All you have to do is take a look at states like California, where small areas, when I say small areas, I'm talking about cities like L.A.,
San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego.
Basically rule the state, and anyone outside that area, their vote really doesn't matter, even if it is on their side. But the opposition doesn't get a say in that. And what happens? Well, look how California is now.
And real quick, I do want to say thank you to Rogue Raven Gaming over on Rumble for giving the channel a follow. Really appreciate it.
Hey, welcome to the family. Usually we're nuttier than this, but extraordinary times cause for extraordinary.
Yeah. Normally,
and we
insulting each other.
And we will get to Shelly Duvall and also the Nintendo article.
Yeah.
Whether we get to any of the other articles, I'm not going to make any promises.
No, but we're gonna honor those that have fallen in the pulp culture community, because to us they are important.
Mm-hmm.
It. You there?
I'm still there. I thought you were going to say something. That's why I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
Well, I want to sit back and go back to the one thing where you see in the chat room and someone comes into the chat room and starts spewing out that BS. I know how chat rooms work. That's an insider who believes the bullshit that, they're right wing, they're inherently so hateful, they'll fall for this, and they'll go, and I can catch them as they join in with the let's do these horrible things, and it backfires. It backfires because, again, there's decency. Just because you are of a political ilk doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. And there's a differentiating, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. There's a difference between someone who's liberal and a leftist. Generally, liberal people out there, people who are true liberals, are wonderful people. They have the same goals that people who are conservative have. They want a better country. They just view a different path, which is what the disagreement is all about, right? And where, like you said, smoking, you can have those spirited debates with it, and there's nothing wrong with having a spirited debate. It means that there's passion behind it. It means that you care. Right. You care. This isn't just going out there and being whatever. You actually freaking care. Of course, leaving out, of course, the personal insults, unless you're friends and you're busting each other's chops, which, we do. That's different. A liberal will be that way. A true liberal. The thing is we're so dominated in the media with leftists. They don't want to debate. They'll sit back and do something. I don't debate. Oh, hell with it. I'm going to say it because they say it. I don't debate Nazis, which is basically their way of sitting back saying, their way of sitting back and saying, I have the inability to debate you because I'm just a drone. And I'm spewing forth what I was told to spew forth, and what I was told to think. Keeping your side completely out of the equation, so I wouldn't be poisoned by what you think. Which, of course, by doing that means you have no basis to do an argument. You have to know what the other side says. Where again, I have that advantage in that area because I am being fed constantly the bullshit of the leftists.
Yeah.
CNN, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, ABC. All these insightful, hateful creatures, and they are. Just look at the reporting we have going on with this.
Gentlemen, real quick, gentlemen, a usual suspect has chimed in, and I want to get your thoughts.
Holy shit.
Usual suspect, George Takai.
Borg tried this too.
The Borg tried this too. We defeated them.
Another man.
George, put politics aside, you fucking moron.
He can't. George Takai, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I really do. This is really something sincere I want to say to you. Fuck you! I could go further, but I'm not. I was going to make some untoward comments. But George, fuck you.
Fuck you and the fucking horse you rode in on.
I would say eat a bag of dicks, but you'd like that. There, I did it. I did go on toward. I broke down. I'm sorry. I broke down. I couldn't hold it back.
Oh my.
Yeah, I got your right here, Georgie.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. Leave it to me to do that.
I think on that note, just real quick, we will get to one of the main stories here.
Okay.
Just to break it up a little bit, that we can get back.
Oh, can I just sit back and say, fuck you, George? Okay, we can go now. Thank you, Mike.
Before we get to this next story, I'm gonna play a clip. Let me just get down to it because it's all the way at the bottom.
Okay. All I gotta sit back and say, I hope he gets a case of hemorrhoids on a romantic night. There, that's the worst I'm gonna sit back and say. I wish something had happened to somebody.
Oh, yeah, Wimpy can take him, but I can't?
Well, who says you can't?
You said I can't.
Well, that wasn't before.
Before what?
That is a tremendously underrated movie. Robert Altman.
One of my favorites as a kid.
And perfect casting for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Who are both, unfortunately, now not with us.
That's so true. And I may need your help getting to this article, Baron.
Oh, you want me to do it? Okay.
All right. Let me put the
Yeah.
link in the private chat for you.
Yeah.
And I'll scroll on
mind.
as you read.
Okay, yeah, you can do that. I'll read that, no problem. So this is, of course, from Variety. I hope they do a better job than they did with Polly. And it's written by Pat Saperstein. I hope I said that right. Shelly Duvall, the Shining in Nashville star, dies at 75. And a lovely picture of her. Shelly Duvall, the big-eyed, yeah, she was a big-eyed lady. Wayfish performer who won the Cannes Actress Award for Robert Altman's Three Women and endured Stanley Kubrick's intense directing techniques to star in The Shining, died of diabetes complications. Oh my. On Thursday in Blanco, Texas. Variety confirmed with her partner Dan Gilroy. She was 75. My dear, sweet, wonderful wife. I have a wife? I wonder if that's
Life partner.
Oh, yeah, because they got that comma there. Usually
They put the comma there. The editor should have corrected that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what threw me off. I was figuring, wife, partner. But okay, let's start from the beginning. And, come on, editors, do your freaking job. My dear, sweet, wonderful life partner and friend left us last night. Too much suffering lately. Now she's free. Fly away, beautiful Shelly. She said Gilroy in a statement. Duvall was known for working with director Altman, who cast her in Brewster McCloud as her first screen role. She went on to appear in his films Mr. Cave and Mrs. Miller and Thieves Like Us, before starring as part of an ensemble cast of Nashville in 1975. After gaining attention in Nashville, Altman cast her in Buffalo Bill and the Indians, then gave her unusual screen presence a chance to shine in Three Women, for which she won the Cannes Film Festival for Best Actress, as well as BAFTA nomination. Also, in 1977, Duvall played a Rolling Stone journalist in Woody Allen's Annie Hall and met Paul Simon on the set. They dated for 2 years. Wow, Paul Simon dated her, Mary Carey Fisher. Wow. Duvall starred as Olive Oil in Altman's Popeye in 1980, a role that she seemed born to play with her giant eyes, and let's face it, in being very thin. You know, she looked the part of Olive Oil.
Yes, she did. If you look at the comics, if you look at the cartoon, she was live action Olive Oil down to a T.
If they wouldn't have cast her, it was like, what the hell's wrong with her? Maybe Sissy Spacek, but no. Shelley Duvall. She was the one and only for that part. In fact, the fact that she even knew how to, knew how to act. So, her unnerving performance as a health spa worker in Three Women led Kubrick to cast her as Wendy Torrance, the wife of Jack Nicholson's character in Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, based on the Stephen King novel. By the way, I just have to sit back and say this because I know he's shot his mouth off. Fuck you, Stephen King. Okay. The Shining required more than a year of shooting, and throughout, the legendary demanding director pushed Duvall to her limit. Some of her scenes in The Shining required more than 100 takes. My word. Years later, she talked about the difficult shoot with Hollywood Reporter. After a while, your body rebels. It says, stop doing this to me. I don't want to cry every day. And sometimes just that thought alone would make me cry. To wake up on a Monday morning so early and realize that you had to cry all day because it was scheduled. I would just start crying. I'd be like, oh no, I can't. And yet I did. I don't know how I did. I don't know how you do. Hey, that right there is a testament going through that. I think women would have, some women would have just walked off the set. Among her other roles were Terry Gilliam's Time Bandits and the comedy Roxanne with Steve Martin. Both films.
Yeah.
Go watch both films. Those are both great.
Yeah, and did you see the trailer for the remake of Time Bandits? Oh, jeez.
No. It doesn't exist. It's not out there. It's in an alternate Earth. We're just seeing a bleed over from an alternate Earth. There is no such thing.
So, in other words, Barrett, give me a second here.
It's fake news. You're calling it fake news. That's exactly what you're calling it. Fake news.
Fake news. How can
All right, go ahead.
How can you freaking touch that? During the 80s, Duvall produced a series of children anthology shows based on classic stories, fairy tale theater, and tall tales and legends, nightmare classics, and bedtime stories. I remember those. Those were Showtime. I think it was Showtime. Maybe it might have been HBO.
I think Fairy Tale Theater was HBO, if I remember correctly. But my sister and I used to watch that, and we used to rent the videos when they had videos of the show.
Yeah. They're well done. Very well done.
Yeah.
Extremely well done. So hats off to her because she was behind that. Boosted notable directors including Tim Burton, Francis Ford Coppola, like he needed to be boosted. Oh, boasted. Sorry, boasted. Sorry, that was my mistake, boys and girls. Move along. Nothing to see here. Tim Burton, Francis Ford Coppola, Ivan Passer, and guest stars like Robin Williams, who she worked with, Jamie Lee Curtis, Elliot Gould, Laura Dern, Molly Ringwald, and Ed Asner. Molly Ringwald, by the way, fuck you. Okay. But I still think she's hot. I thought she was hot. It's the red hair. That's why Cash doesn't like her. Born in Fort Worth, Texas, she met Altman at a party while he was shooting Brewster McCloud in Texas. Okay, we got that. It's in Texas, shooting in Texas. We know that. We got the gist. After returning to Texas, Duvall appeared in Steven Soderbergh's The Underneath in 1995 And the next year started in Jane Campion's The Portrait of a Lady. She retired from acting in 2002. Though she led the recluse...
Baron, I don't mean to interrupt, but they seem to forget that she was in a movie where Christopher Lloyd said, "I was frozen today." Suburban Commando. She played his wife.
Yep. Absolutely correct, sir. I think they don't list that because they consider that kind of a lowbrow movie because it had Hulk Hogan. But it had Christopher Lloyd. I mean, you gotta love him.
Yeah.
So, though she led a reclusive life, her appearance on Dr. Phil in 2016 garnered negative publicity for sensationalizing her struggles with mental health. She came out and was, fuck you. Not Shelley Duvall, not Dr. Phil. It's the people doing that. In 2021, she was interviewed by the Hollywood Reporter writer Seth Ambrovich, who traveled to Texas and found her happy to reminisce over her career and finally regarded her community in the Texas Hill Country despite her eccentricities. Well, yeah. Why would
that's what makes us unique. We're all eccentric.
Right. I mean, and she's happy to reminisce about it. I mean, she doesn't sound like she has any, except for, yeah, you're right, Chase. I'm going to outdo you. Except for The Shining, everything seemed to be great working, especially with Altman, because Altman's very loose director. Very loose director. In 2023, she returned to acting after many years, appearing in the indie horror film The Forest Hills, which was not widely available. Of course, as we know, she was survived by her partner, musician Dan Gilroy, and her brothers Scott, Stuart, and Shane. I see a pattern in the names of those kids. Everything's starting with an S, but that was our dear sweet Shelly Duvall, who really contributed to our pop culture in one fashion or another.
And again,
she was the host, I think, of some of those shows too.
Yeah, she was. She will always have a place in my heart for being in Popeye. And I'm going to play that clip again. Because one of the reasons I selected this clip, I thought it was a sweet scene between her and Robin Williams.
Yeah, Wimpy can take him, but I can't.
Well, who says you can't?
You said I can't.
Well, I wasn't before.
Before what?
Yeah, that's olive oil. She did it.
She won the
heart.
I'm
not going to date you, man. I'm not dating you.
Oh, me out of oils. And Jay Fox out there hating on me. Just because I'm a sailor doesn't mean I like it in the poop dick.
Oh, let me see, young fella. You're doing a show at a Stop Pop Talk. I don't know. I happen to like Pop Talk better, young fella.
Stinks. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I believe Wimpy did a good job in that film.
Yes, and he did a good job playing an Auburn Tang on Deep Space Nine, a Cardassian.
Everybody, if you have not seen this film, watch it. It's severely underrated. Underrated.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Pop Culture Minefield. They're actually going to be having a watch party of Popeye this coming Wednesday. So,
good job.
Good job, Gary and Keith.
No, you said wrong. Gary. Good job, Gary and Keith.
Mhm.
I gotta do that. I gotta do it. Ever since he told me that's how his one sister's says his name. I'm gonna torment with him that till the day he dies, or I die. You know, it doesn't matter. It'll probably be the last words from my lips. I'd want to have recorded so it could be played for him. Gary.
Yeah, you know what his response would be? Fuck you, Baron.
Yeah, because he likes me. He only does that to people he likes.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right.
That's how he signed his book. That's how he signed the book. Cold War Geronimo, the graphic novel he did. You know, he sent that to me, and there he goes. Fuck you, Baron. He said he wasn't going to do it, but he did it.
Well, it's funny. I've heard Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He's actually said he has greater respect when a man comes up to him, shakes his hand, and tells him, "Jeremy, go fuck yourself."
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, "All right." He's like, "I have more respect for somebody when they do that," and that's the first.
Yeah.
They don't say, "Hey, Jeremy, how you doing?" They just say, "Jeremy, go fuck yourself." And that's the first thing he says. He's like, "I know we're gonna have a good conversation if they're willing to say that to my face."
Yeah.
So it's like a badge of honor almost.
Yeah, it is.
And let's go ahead and get into the Nintendo president article real quick, then we can go back to Trump. I just want to knock those two articles out of the way. And
well, yeah, and before we do that, I do want to say one of his mean tweets, Kofifi. Oh, how he had the press. How he had the press going bonkers over that, and he intended to do that.
Listen.
What does that mean?
It's Kofefe. Okay, get it right. It's Kofefe.
Here, let me show you amateurs. I know. You're going, Mike, you have an
You
app
got a
that
voice
lets you do it.
modulator. You don't count.
Yeah, you're cheating. You're a cheater. You're using cheat codes.
Yeah.
That's easy mode.
Get it right. Get it right. Everybody, LBC, get it right. That's right. You know, Patriot, at the end of the year, faces for cash 7, you got to get it right.
You know what is absolutely funny about that? And again, I know we're going to get this story, but just one quick one. The media were even trying to go out there and say, was that a cold word for going out and doing attacks? No, they literally did that. No wonder why you have this bullshit going on. By the way, fuck you, CNN. Fuck you, MSNBC. Fuck you, ABC. Fuck you, NBC. Did I say CBS? Fuck you, CBS. If I didn't, you get double fucks.
Is that like double dumbass on you?
Yeah, something like that. Hey, look who decided to show up.
Yeah, it's the Padawannabe.
Oh, wrong guy.
That's anonymous too. I'm surprised he isn't here. Of course, he could be lurking. You know, he likes to hide in the shadows.
Yeah.
Stealthy,
ninjas,
like a ninja.
But, yeah, he thinks he's a cookie ninja.
Bring up Beverly Hills 414, huh, Bear?
Yeah, see?
Steve will be proud of that. But we'll get through this article and then we'll get back to talking about yesterday's incident. And
hey, it's bound in the comics.
Yes, this is by Jorge Arenas. It was posted on the 10th.
An article not done by Spencer Piculi? Wow.
No.
I thought Spencer Piculi was the only person on that staff.
Apparently not. Apparently they were able to hire somebody.
I thought it was going to be like bounding into Spencer Piculi. That didn't sound right. I'm sorry. I'm so very sorry. No, I'm not. Go on, Mike. Sorry.
Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa reveals company stance on AI. This all comes because Ubisoft has said that they're going to use AI. A few other companies have come out and said that they're going to use AI. It seems that unlike such industry rivals such as Xbox and Ubisoft, Nintendo has no plans to ride the generative AI train. Though these competitors are hoping to integrate elements of the fast evolving technology, Nintendo's president, Shuntaro Furukawa, during a Q&A with investors, made clear that in its current state, AI is in a place to go past its traditional roles. First, he touched upon AI's long history within the gaming industry. In the game industry, AI-like technology has long been used to control enemy character movements. So, game development and AI technology have always been closely related. As President Shuntaro pointed out, AI in gaming has been around for decades. According to Wikipedia, this relationship goes back to the 1950s with the creation of the game NIM, which was published in 1952 and is held as one of the first use cases of AI in the infant video game ecosystem. Moving on, President Shuntaro said, due to recent advancements in generative AI, it has become a hot topic, though one with drawbacks. Generative AI, which has been a hot topic in recent years, can be more creative, but we also recognize that it has issues with intellectual property rights. Finally, his last remark seems to put a nail in the coffin that Nintendo will use generative AI. We have decades of know-how in creating optimal gaming experiences for our customers, not company, Mike. And while we remain flexible in responding to technological developments, we hope to continue to deliver value that is unique to us and cannot be achieved through technology alone. For those who work in the industry, these comments might seem like a highlight in a space that has experienced significant layoffs in the last 2 years. Matthew Ball, an angel investor and advisor, made this point on X back in June. After only 5.5 months, the video game industry has set a tragic new record for in-year layoffs, 10,900 versus the prior record of 10,500 in 2023, and the record before that was 8,500 in 2022. These layoffs span games that were canceled and scaled back, as well as studios. Of course, shows more. We're not going to read the rest of it, but he made several tweets, and also you have a graph here. So what's been going on? No, they weren't mean tweets by the looks of it. Just bringing up facts and numbers. So President Furukawa's remarks seem to show that Nintendo wants to be committed to maintaining its creative integrity and respecting IP laws, even in a market that isn't quite friendly to gaming studios. Well, kudos to Nintendo. They want to keep it real.
Yeah. Hats off to you guys. Well, I mean, it was shown to be with the disastrous Battlefield 1 and 2 remasters, quote unquote, that they went out there and all they were doing was AIing the new skins over the figures out there,
and also taking other people's mods and implementing them into the game without permission.
Right. And they had that lame excuse. Oh, we only had them temporarily in there for this. When we were programmed, they were supposed to be taken out. Yeah, right. Sure.
Sure.
Lie to me again. Please. I like it. Just keep lying to me. Would you lie to me, honey? Do. So, yeah, I mean, I don't... I want real hands involved in this stuff, you know. real hands create. I mean, just like good old DJ has there. I have an AI band. Yeah, and that's why I call it the AI band. I don't want anybody to think otherwise, or I'm trying to hide it. No, this is me having fun. Fun. Gotta have a lot of fun. Don't have fun, then you become you need the fun. So
well, just like today, I'm making it known that I'm using an app that's allowing my voice to change and sound like Donald Trump. When I made the Transformers video as a tribute to Generation 1, I made it known that this is used using AI.
Right.
Yeah.
I find AI fun to play with as a little fun toy to play with, even when I'm doing my images. And I make it known. It's like I don't have a artistic bone in my body, and I'm very jealous of people that do. They have more in their little pinky tip than I actually have. But I'm not doing it for money. I'm just doing it for fun. It's a silly hobby, as I sat back and made it known emphatically. So don't go hating on me. If you go hating on me, then obviously you're not reading and you're a moron. And just to make Jace happy. Fuck you guys. If you're having a problem with that. Now, if I was going out there and actually, I'm selling this and stuff like that, I can see you getting your undies in a bunch. But
yeah, I mean,
such a case.
Well, that's the thing is that there's another content creator I follow, Andrew Wilson of the Crucible. He writes like some of the lyrics and everything, and then he uses an AI program to come up with various themes of music. So it could be death metal, it could be 80s pop, it could be 70s disco, whatever. So he uses an AI program, and he's openly said this because people are like, "Did you do all that music yourself?" He's like, "Nope." He's like, "I wrote enough of the lyrics." Use an AI program to help me fill in the blanks on the lyrics.
Yeah, that's what Suno AI lets you do. You can write in the lyrics.
Open about that.
You could tell it what style of music you want it to be.
Yep.
And then it generates it.
Yep. He doesn't hide the fact he uses an AI program for that. Now he does. Now it is his own music that he does create, so that's why he gets copyright struck. But he uses a program to create his own music, and he's open about that.
Right. Mm-hmm. I used to know, and I'm going to be branching out into trying to do that myself. Again, I have no talent even in that, but maybe I might. I don't know. But and let the music, select the music style I want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. I experiment with it. I mean, hey, honestly, we have the perfect one here that Mike has for us.
And real quick before you play it, I was originally going to use it for today's opening, but that happened yesterday. It's like, no.
Yeah. So maybe another show, maybe another episode you'll do that. But
what they say, pop talks dishing out negativity every single day. They're always on a rant. No matter what's in sight, but I won't let their words get me down. I'll prove them wrong tonight.
See, I did that as a parody, because people go, "Oh, you're so negative," especially Cash Money. Mm-hmm. That's what he gets for not being here, by the way.
Well, when we have new people come into the chat and say we're negative, it's like, this is the first time you're even hearing us. We may be negative on this article or that article, but you haven't been here the whole show. Give us a chance.
No. Yeah, I mean, we've been assaulted for being positive.
yeah, we have.
It's like
Dark Forces Remastered. Remember that?
Oh, I remember that. The moronic attack on us on that one. It's like, honest to Pete, just get your undies out of a bunch. And it comes to that point. Well, you're never going to please everybody, so just be yourself.
Yeah,
that's the important thing about being a YouTuber is don't change if you become popular. It's because of what you were starting out that made people like you. So, except for, of course, Smoking Patriot, but that's beside the point.
Come on!
You're gonna be our,
Haven't you
you're gonna
heard?
be our whipping
Smoking
boy.
Patriot's a bad dude.
He is. He's a bad dude. Yeah. See, you're our cash money whipping boy today. So people think it's an honor to be taking over Cash's spot.
Now, let's be honest. Patriot was with Pop Talk in the beginning. He's always been with Pop Talk in some form or fashion.
Unlike me.
I mean,
whether
it's try and use me as your metaphorical punching bag, but I'm going to dodge all your shots more than Neo dodges bullets.
Oh wow! Oh, look at that! Look how!
Whoa! I've got to play a clip. I gotta play a clip.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, the newcomer upstart here attacking such a noble creature as Smoking Patriot. Yeah, because of my insecurity. I'm insecure.
This is what Patriot said to you, Baird.
Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? That's what happens.
Yeah,
Yep.
he did that.
Yep, that's the Christian. That's the Christian version, by the way, of what actually happened. But we'll go with that version.
See, we like having fun. Even in this dark day of what happened yesterday, again, you need to take a step back, take a breath, have a couple chuckles. It doesn't mean that we're taking this any less serious.
We are still taking it serious, but we have to add some levity to this.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Are we nuts? I mean, more nuts than we are.
I'm a Cub fan. What are you trying to say?
Loser.
Yeah, when was the last time the Twins won anything?
Yeah, well, 91. Hey, they went from worst to first, though.
That's true.
The last time Twins won anything, the Krassenstein brothers sued Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, about right. Yeah, about right. I mean, I don't even know how they're doing this year. I mean, I don't know. They're probably
Honestly,
sucking as bad as the Cubs.
I forget the Twins are even a baseball team.
Hey! Now you're crossing the line. You're crossing the line there. That was it. I'm sorry. He crossed the line. Oh, sorry. Wait, I was letting him back in. That was a quick in and out. Yeah, that's what that was she said. It was a quick in and out.
Nice try, but you can't get me down that easily.
And I want to know what your optimism is here, Mr. Smoking Patriot. Trump 47. First of all, that's not an election year, and do you think he'd still be trying to run in the 40s? I don't know.
Well, first of all, okay, I just have to get this on the record for YouTube and for anyone watching. I am not a member of the Trump presidential campaign. Okay, I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. Okay, that being said, yeah, that's what I want: Trump to be the 47th president of the United States.
Oh, the 47th president! I thought you were trying to see, back have him in 47 still running, which of course wouldn't be it's an off year, So
Hey, Baron.
Lighten up, Francis.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
I mean, come on, man.
Come on, man.
It's me. It's the dude. The dude.
Yeah, he abides, man. He abides. The dude abides. I threw that line at my long suffering the other day about, I can't remember what we're talking about, and it went to that level about, it abides.
I actually did that at work about, what was it, like 2-3 weeks ago? No, okay, it was the week before 4th of July. So yes, like several weeks ago, I walk into a coworker's office, and he shares office with like 2 other guys. And he's like, "Hey, look who it is!" I'm like, "It's the dude. Come on, man. It's me. It's me, man, the dude." And he just stared at me. He just says, "What the hell?" I'm like, "Oh my Lord." He's like, "Wait, is that from?" I'm like, "If it's probably yes." He's like, "I haven't seen that in ages."
Apparently so.
Well, my reaction to a lot of the comments that were being made yesterday, about everybody who was freaking out that the bullet missed. This is my response.
Very interesting, but stupid.
Mine was fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. How am I doing there, Jace?
I mean,
I don't even have a ticker for the count.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's.
We should have done that. I didn't realize I'd be saying it so much today. I was gonna behave today. Look where that got us.
Well, there was a different plan for today's show originally.
I mean,
then everything went down. Yeah.
Wow, Jack's actually trying to hold her tongue because if she went off and we had a swear jar, we could buy the Alliance a whole new cruiser.
Ooh. I mean, honestly, that was the best they could bring out. At least Alec Baldwin hit his target. Oh, too soon.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I did have all the articles up and ready, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think this was a fix. The fix was in.
I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of speculations.
Yeah.
And the problem, I mean, there are multiple. Trust me. I mean, I'm in various realms of Twitter spaces, and there's all sorts of theories going around. The average Joe would call them conspiracy theories, but the thing is that these people aren't crazy. They're looking at all these various things and saying all these things don't add up. Mm-hmm. And so the one thing I will say about this whole thing, and this has to be just stated, is that it's quite literally a divine miracle. Whether you're religious or not, I don't care if you're religious or you're another religion, whatever. I literally don't care. I quite literally don't. But yesterday, what happened was truly a divine miracle, because at the distance, and I was listening to some experts this morning. They said using an AR-15 at less than 200 yards, even with iron sights, somebody with limited training could easily have put a 1-inch grouping at that distance, 1 to 2 inch grouping, which means Trump's head was a big enough target to where it would be very hard to miss. And the fact that worst case, he got one in his upper ear and all but another bullet missed him. Like, it's quite literally a divine miracle that it didn't end up worse. Now, I know that there are other people that are injured and dead. I'm not discounting that, but if those people wouldn't matter if the person hit his mark like he was wanting to. So, and the fact Trump jerked his head at just the right time when he dropped to the ground at just the right time. There was other forces at work protecting him. Again, I don't care if you're religious or not, but as a religious person, I can't. There's so many things. there's so many ways that this could have gone wrong in terms of Trump's dead. But everything happening in just a specific way to where Trump jerks his head just enough to where the bullet goes through his upper ear. He drops at just the right time so the rest of the bullets don't hit him in the head. You know, you could say, well, he was just dropping. No, because those bullets were fired in sequence very quickly. So
you could hear it when you watch the videos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again,
oh, you mean the BB gun?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
I know.
But,
yeah, I'm sorry. I was being facetious because of the
fucking
asshole.
I know. But like I said, again, I don't know if people here are religious or not, or what your religious affiliation is, whatever. But I do want to make that known that what happened yesterday, as a religious person, I think was a divine miracle, based on all the evidence and all the testimony and all the expert witnesses, all the evidence, everything. What happened yesterday should have been far worse.
Well, think about it too. People saw the shooter on the roof, and they were trying to alert the Secret Service and the police, and the Secret Service and police were going, duh.
Right, and so that's the thing is that this person should have never had the chance to get their rounds off. So you have on one hand mass incompetency, whether it was purposeful or not purposeful, but on the other hand, the way this should have gone down where when the Republican National Convention happens starting tomorrow and it goes for most, if not all, of this coming week. Okay, they would be having an entirely different presidential candidate, and Ivanka and Eric Trump would be planning a funeral for their father if everything went as it should.
And Melania, a husband.
Yeah, and Melania
Baron Trump.
Baron Trump and also Donald Trump Jr.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. So again, people can say religion's crazy. I really don't care what you say. I just know when I see the evidence and I hear experts say, like, there is no way that this man should have missed in the manner that he did. There were other forces at work protecting Trump, because there's no way Trump should be alive right now.
But by the grace of God, he is.
Right.
Yep. So, and I respect other people if you don't believe me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, despite my filthy mouth, I'm a Christian. I'm a very, believe it or not, I'm pretty devout Christian as it goes along with that. But I'm also an Orson Bean Christian. It's like I may be a Christian, but I'm still a dirty old man. Right? There's a little vices and working a little blue and stuff like that. And I hold to the philosophy of Orson Bean, who, by the way, became Christian over a series of years. I've always been. I've had my problems with faith, but when it comes back to it, I'm a very devout Missouri Synod Lutheran. I mean, again, even in the church, I'm conservative. Because that's one of the more conservative Lutheran churches out there. Fuck you, ELCA. Sorry.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, if you're part of the ELCA, yeah. Well, sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I mean, truly, there was something, and we've seen it before with, Reagan. Reagan should have been dead.
Yeah, back in 81 when the attempt on his life was made.
Right. Andrew Jackson should have been dead. Theodore Roosevelt should have been dead. This wasn't the first assassination attempt on Trump. Someone tried to go after him back when he was running in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So this is nothing new. There should have been a sniper up on that roof. But one of ours. Why wasn't there one of ours up there? They usually have them all over the place. Again, they're saying this is the perfect vantage point. Then there should have been, our security detachment having somebody up there. Where were the drones to fly over? Because you don't necessarily want to helicopter.
I said to you last night, why not one helicopter or two helicopters?
But the drones have thankfully taken care of that for us because they're not as noisy as helicopters, and they're not as distracting as helicopters, and easier to put in spots where people can't necessarily see where they are, which is why they're used so much and safe. And where were those? I would have had at least 2 or 3 of them up there watching. I would have had somebody where that kid was sitting
He
there.
should have never been able to get to the ladder to get onto that roof.
Right.
Somebody
And that's
should have seen him prior to him even climbing that ladder.
Right. I mean, as that goes, everyone says that is a perfect vantage point. Well, if that's a perfect vantage point, our experts should be there. They're supposed to have scouted this area beforehand. That's what they usually do.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're
They didn't.
supposed to do.
Obviously, they didn't, or they did a piss poor job of it. I mean, it is easy. I'm not saying I'm saying this that it's me, but I can see where someone can see where this was some sort of conspiracy. Honestly, I'm not subscribing to that, but I do know one thing: they didn't have the best people on. That's for sure. They didn't have the best people doing it. They might have been doing that in contempt of Trump. It's like, okay, we got to guard this guy, but we're not going to do everything for him. We're not going to put the best people out there for him. He's going to get the third string DEI hires. So, I mean, it might be even that far that they just, let's put the incompetent people on there. We don't want to waste our good people on Trump. Which is why there's a lot of answering to be done on top.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back.
Hey,
welcome back.
There he is. Yeah.
Now, getting to this Alec Baldwin case, because I do want to talk about it today.
Yep.
It's by G. Mattis. It was posted on the 12th. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, even before I read the article. This was planned from the beginning.
Yep.
A way to get Alec Baldwin off.
Mm-hmm.
So that New Mexico can still have these movie studios come to New Mexico and film there.
Yep.
I have no proof of this. This is just my gut instinct.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I believe there is a report, so obviously take this with a grain of salt, but it makes sense now in hindsight. Right after the events with Alec Baldwin, one of the first calls he made was to some politicians up high enough in the New Mexico political realm, essentially. Which, if you think about it, makes total sense. Because I actually watched. So I don't know if any of y'all have ever heard of Good Logic. He used to stream with like Nick Rekieta. He was live streaming this actual thing. So I actually saw this live, where it was revealed the prosecution bumbled this, and the case was dismissed and all that. So I actually saw it live, and everyone on the panel was like, "How could you bumble this so badly on, like, this almost seems purposeful. Like, this is such an egregious level. It's not like it's not like a, oh, well, we forgot. It was you consciously didn't do this.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It stunk from the beginning when you hear about it.
I fortunately or unfortunately I am familiar with New Mexico politics because my grandparents lived down there. My grandfather called it the land of mañana because it's like, when you want to, we need to get this done. Yeah, mañana. Do it tomorrow. And the corruption inside that government is horrible. Absolutely horrible. It just doesn't get the press because it's New Mexico. It's like everyone thinks of corruption. They think like New York or DC or Chicago. But the thing is you can still have it in a state like New Mexico, and sometimes it makes me wonder: could they be even a little bit worse sometimes than these other places I listed off on? But I would be regaled with all the BS from my grandfather when because I talked to him like every week. I tried to feign that I like NASCAR because he liked NASCAR. But of course he'd go and talk about the land of manana. And New Mexico is a beautiful place. It really is.
It is. It really is.
I would not mind living down there. We almost did, actually. My parents, along with my grandparents, bought land down there with the intention of moving down and living there. Well, they did. They sold their land and they bought a house in Santa Fe. The land was just outside of Santa Fe. For all I know now, it's like the outer rim of Santa Fe with the growth expansion. My parents sold their land. We never did move down there. I don't know if I can say thankfully or sadly, but either way, it was a beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful place.
It really is. First time I went there was back in 2011. It was in the fall, and just seeing all the colors against the mountain and the sky, especially as the sun was setting, it was absolutely beautiful. I have some pictures. I have to find them, but I do have some pictures that I took from the first trip.
And yeah, I know I've been obviously down there a lot earlier than that, and I think the last time was roughly about the time that you were there, because that's when we moved my grandfather up to Minnesota because he wasn't able to live on his own. My grandmother had passed already in '97, and it just like he was having issues living on his own, despite what he thought. So there was the big move, and I would sit on the deck at night, and I probably pulled out my cigars, and they had a beautiful view of the mountains behind the house. There was also a big mountaintop out in the front that you could look up and see, but in the back, because it was in the distance, and just watching it, seeing the lights out there, and then seeing the lightning. I mean, I think almost every day there was like lightning in the mountains. It was just a beautiful sight. It's like, wow, this, land of enchantment, you ain't lying. There is no lie detected here, boys and girls.
No, none whatsoever.
Right.
I recommend that if anybody gets a chance to visit there, visit.
Oh yeah. Old towns, Albuquerque. You can some of the museums they do have in Albuquerque.
Oh yeah,
Natural Museum with the big dinosaurs.
Loved going to Old Town the first time I went out there.
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful place. I mean, most of Albuquerque's crap and hot, but that's worth a visit there. The Palace of the Governors in Santa Fe in the square. You have, of course, American Indian museums there as well showing, and they even have in Santa Fe. They also have like kind of the history. They're showing off conquistador armor, even if they do have the armor on the dummy backwards. Or at least did. For all I know, they probably turned it around.
Yeah, real quick, I logged into my Facebook page, and this was the first picture I took.
Good picture.
At sunrise. Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Yeah, you're greeted with that almost every day down there.
And that's kind of almost the sick thing is that and this isn't, unfortunately, this is not a political thing, but it at the same time is that like I've spent time in California, all right? And if you've been to California,
Son, I haven't
geography-wise-
just been to California. I was born there.
Yeah, well, but that's the thing. It's like California is a gorgeous state from a geography perspective. It's got like literally you could literally be in like Long Beach or Newport Beach. You could literally be surfing the waves from 7 to noon and then say, you know what? I want to go skiing. I want to go skiing and then have a nice meal in the mountains. You could do that within 3 hours. So within 3 to 4 hours, okay, you're up there hitting the slopes once or twice. Like literally, it's just geography-wise, California is such a beautiful state, but it's literally run by artards. Like,
go ahead and say it, Patriot. Go ahead.
Oh, you got the one time.
I gave Baron the one-time allowance. I'll give you the one-time allowance.
Okay, thank you. It's run by fucking retards. It is. And New Mexico, the same thing. It seems like an absolutely gorgeous state. My dad actually has traveled there for work. He was out there for like a week or 10 days, something like that. And he was like, it's a beautiful state. He's like, I wouldn't want to live there because the politics are insane. But it's an absolutely beautiful state, especially if you love the desert, like mountains and desert. He said it's an absolutely beautiful state.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way.
I mean,
yes, by the way, there's one of your associate people right there, Alex Jones. There's your.
But,
excuse me.
You know, you talk about, going 3 hours, or in some cases, you can go 2 hours to be up in the mountains in California. We used to actually take an 8-hour drive to the Sierra Nevada and go to an area called June Lake. There's also other towns that you get to before you even get up to June Lake. And one of them is Bishop. So we used to drive up there, go to June Lake, go to Mammoth, and just take in the scenery. And my dad had been going there since he was a small boy with my grandparents and my great-grandparents. It's a wonderful, beautiful area. In the springtime, go fishing, relax. In the wintertime, take in the slopes. I miss it, but I would never go back to California to live. And I know they say never, but I've been where I'm currently at longer than I've lived in California.
And Mayberry's better for it. That's all I gotta say. Well, yeah, I mean, last time I was in California, and I was up in Turlock, which is beautiful up there. That was like in the 90s, and things weren't so crazy. Things weren't so dirty. I mean, there was a time when LA was much more magical, but now it's a slum. Same thing with San Francisco.
Just say what it is. It's shithole. Because that's how I felt Baltimore was when I took a train ride up to Philadelphia, going through Baltimore. It was a shithole.
Tacoma, Washington. It's a shithole. I'm sorry if you're from Tacoma, but
I'm sorry if you're from Baltimore, but back in 2011, I know things haven't changed, but in 2011, going by on the train ride, there were areas that looked like they were once a beautiful area, but now they're shitholes. All you see are the walls of houses.
No, it's probably worse now. I mean, I hate to say it, because it just that creeping entropy of bullshit goes in there. I mean, San Francisco. I mean, I dream of the days when I could have been there when you had the Hungry Eye and the other places. Just could go from one place to another. You could see, Lenny Bruce in one place, go across and see the Kingston Trio in the other place, and then see, it's like, boy, that would have been magical. I know where I would have been most of the time.
I'm glad you mentioned that it could have been magical because that's how my mother described it. That was one of the first cities when she came out to California that she wanted to visit was San Francisco, and how magical the city once was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was there in the 80s, so no, 70s. My apologies. That's when I was there. Was in the 70s, right? As a kid on a family vacay, we drove out there and all that, and yeah, I remember going up Lombard Street, and of course, Bill Cosby's comedy routine about that is spot on and absolutely hysterical. I know Bill Cosby, but still, he was a very funny man, and his observations on Lombard Street were right on the ticket. I remember going into Chinatown, and we went to a very Chinese restaurant in there, where we were partitioned off. Even I can't remember if we sat on a table or we actually did sit on pillows and such. And I tried using chopsticks, which I was and still am absolutely horrible at. My daughter has me over that. Both my daughters have that over that because they like sushi and stuff like that. But still, I mean, I remember in the Winchester House, going through the Winchester House. This stuff was magical. And now what you got? It's okay to shit on the street now, folks. Go out and shit on the street and put your encampment up wherever you want. That's fine. Unless, of course, Emperor Jin comes over from China. We're going to clean you all off the street and such.
Baron, don't forget about Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. One of those that was more than happy to incite violence. Yeah, she's a wonderful human being. Yeah. But I mean, I remember my time when I visited LA. It was the same time we went up the coast. Driving up there. And, stopping off in Slovene, and seeing the Danish influences, and oh my God, in fact, we still sometimes when some events they bring in the sausages from that one meat house they have there, and it's just divine. It's like wow, and now what it has become a shithole, and they shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. The same thing with New Mexico. I mean, Santa Fe is probably one of the best places to live for the beauty, the climate, everything. Yeah, and I'll say it. It's a dry heat. It's far different than the humidity. But then they have one other bonus. You're up in the mountains, so you get that cool mountain breeze, and it gets cool at night. And my grandfather didn't have air conditioning in his house. None. And basically the trick is you open the windows, have them open at night, and then at a certain point of the day, you close all the windows. They'll keep the cool in as the day gets warmer. And just when it's starting to get too warm in the house, that's when you can open the windows again because it's nighttime. You start, close to night, and you gain that cool breeze again coming in. I mean, beautiful. When I was there, they sat back and had the news guy. Yeah, it's going to be like 90 degrees or whatever, but don't worry, it's a dry heat. Saying it sarcastically. And I'm thinking to myself, to this weather guy, I come from Minnesota where you have 95 and 95. Yeah, be thankful it's a dry heat, and you don't have to worry about drowning walking out to your car because of all the humidity.
Oh, I know.
I was gonna say, I think the three of us here on this panel right now, along with anyone who's listening to us and lives in an area where you experience humidity this time of year, all you have to do is open up the door and walk out of your house, and you could be dripping. You could be out there in the steam.
Thankfully, this year the humidity hasn't been that bad yet, but
Oh, well, you're lucky. It's huge. It's instead of my state being involving in a celestial body, my state should be called the humidity state.
Normally at this time, you'd walk out and it's the underwear stick to the crack of your ass weather. It's just how fast is it going to be in seconds and sometimes milliseconds. So.
So,
But, okay.
Getting to this article from Variety, this will be the last article we read before we wrap it up, by the way, guys.
Okay.
It's by Gene Mattis, and it says Alec Baldwin's arrest case dismissed after surprise bullets revealed in court. The manslaughter case against Alec Baldwin has been dismissed after the judge blasted prosecutors for failing to turn over a batch of bullets to the defense. Judge Mary Marlowe Summer threw out the case, ruling that no other sanction was sufficient. The state is highly culpable for its failure to provide discovery to the defendant, Marlowe Summer said. Dismissal with prejudice is warranted. Again, I think the state did it on purpose so they can keep these movie studios filming in the state of New Mexico.
Yeah, they need to have a little show trial, and the kangaroo court can go the other way too, where basically a big nothing burger. And remember, this is the same judge that played around with the fuckery the first time around. It was the same judge, which means they should have had a different judge on this case.
Marlowe Summer ruled that under the principle of double jeopardy, Baldwin cannot be retried. She made clear she was appalled at the prosecution's failures.
Probably under orders.
If this conduct does not rise to the level of bad faith, it certainly comes so near to bad faith as to show signs of scorching, the judge said. Gasps were heard. It should say in the courtroom, but it doesn't. But gasps were heard in the courtroom as Baldwin received hugs and congratulations from his family and supporters. He and his wife, Hilaria, were in tears. They exited the courthouse and entered a black Chevy Suburban. They did not address the throngs of media outside. I'm not surprised.
Hey, at least they went out crying instead of like the last time they went out there with big smiles and all happy and all that. But I'll say that much. But still, fuck you, Alec. But back to you, Mike.
This was a disaster for the New Mexico judicial system, said John Day, a lawyer and local legal commentator. They got a huge allocation of public funds to prosecute this case, and this is what happened with that. This was an absolute catastrophe. It's an absolute joke.
Right. I wonder where some of that money went. Because it didn't get brought to case, right? I'm sure the money's not being returned. I'm sure prosecutors were able to pocket it. I'm sure the judge was able to pocket it. This is New Mexico, after all. And
the defense.
I had my doubts on the validity of this case, by the way, with the fact that they put that twat waffle back on this case.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It should have been a separate judge.
Yeah, I scratched my head about that. It's like,
The defense The defense argued that prosecutors deliberately hid bullets that were turned over to investigators in March and which are relevant to the case. Erlinda Johnson, one of the two special prosecutors, resigned from the case on Friday amid turmoil over the evidence. Carrie Morrissey, the lead prosecutor, said outside the courthouse that she disagrees with the judge but respects the court's decision. I wonder why. I'm disappointed because I believe the importance of the evidence was misconstrued by the defense attorneys. Morrissey said, "We did everything humanly possible to bring justice to Helena and to her family, and we're proud of the work that we did." Are you sure?
Ha!
I'm just gonna put this because why not?
Yeah.
Because I have my doubts, Baron. I do have my doubts.
Oh, I got huge. Oh, I thought you
What the hell you say?
That's what I was expecting. My question to her is,
what would you say you do here?
Yeah. What did you do here in this case?
Well, you know what she did? What the prosecutors did? And you know,
Profited the money? Pocketed the
not
money?
not only that, they destroyed their careers.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they were okay. We're going to be complacent in this. We're going to follow along with the judge. We're going to play ball with her. We're going to throw this case, and then not realizing doing this stuff. I don't care what promises were given to them by whoever in the whole situation. They just fucked over their careers. There's people that won't go to them saying that are demand that they're not on the case. They've destroyed their careers, and good, good. I'm not a big fan of lawyers, and this is one of the reasons why. So fuck you, prosecutors. Back to you, Mike.
Baldwin was on trial for shooting cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust in 2021. The jury was scheduled to hear testimony on Friday from the lead detective, but instead the judge sent them home on Friday morning so she could delve more deeply into the failure to turn over the bullets. In an afternoon hearing, Marlo Summer pointedly asked Corporal Alexandria Hancock about why the bullets were logged under a separate case number, putting them out of reach of the defense. Why was the determination made? Marlo Summer asked. Who made it? Hancock answered that she had made the decision in consultation with her supervisors and with Morrissey. Oh, the fix was in. Fix was in.
Congratulations, Corporal. You just fucked up your career.
In a highly unusual move, Morrissey then called herself to the witness stand to give her account of the events. She said she did not believe the bullets had evidentiary value. Come on, Mike, speak. In a further bizarre twist, defense attorneys Alex Spiro then cross-examined Morrissey, asking about repeated failures to turn over evidence leading up to the trial. He also asked if Morrissey was acting out of contempt for Baldwin. So this whole court case against Alex Baldwin was just for show. It was a sham from the beginning.
The judge put herself on the witness stand.
Yes,
right there will tell you.
That's why I'm saying that, Baron.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm just enforcing what you said. I'm reinforcing what you said, because if that's the case, then she should have been excused from being the judge. Mm-hmm. Then she should have been one of the people coming in for the defense on this case, not the judge. That is now been compromised. That should be called a mistrial and investigation into this judge.
I was just going to say there needs to be an investigation into this judge, into this case.
Mm-hmm. And the corporal and the
everybody involved. Right.
Because with that, she also sold her supervisor down the drain.
Yep.
In consultation with him, I did this. So it was kind of partially deflecting what she did.
Deflecting blame.
Yeah.
She wasn't taking full blame for it.
Lord, I listened to the serpent and I ate the apple because of the serpent. What about you, Adam? Well, this woman that you gave me, God, told me to eat. Oh, talk about deflection. We're going to not only implicate the woman, we're going to go straight for God. Right? This is kind of the same thing.
That is absolutely untrue, Morrissey said. Goes on to say, I actually really appreciate Mr. Baldwin's movies. I really appreciate his politics. I bet you do.
Bingo! Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right there.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, see, that's just it. They don't hide it in New Mexico.
No.
That's how corrupt they are. At least in Chicago, they try.
Yeah, and fail.
Yeah, they fail, but at least they try. They try to make it look like it's, you just
The Baldwin
impartiality right there.
Mm-hmm. The Baldwin trial began on Wednesday. In recent weeks, the defense repeatedly charged that the prosecution had hidden reams of information, including forensic reports, emails, and lapel videos, until the eve of the trial. Because you were all in it together, all working together.
There should be a whole hell of a lot of disbarring going on.
Mm-hmm. On Friday morning, Marlo Summer donned blue rubber gloves and opened an evidence envelope containing the bullets. She had them displayed on a table in front of the judge's bench. 3 of them appeared to match the Starline brass live bullets found on the set of Rust. During testimony on Thursday, the defense uncovered that investigators had received the batch of live ammunition from Troy Tesk toward the end of the trial of Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the film's armor. Tesk, a retired police officer in Arizona, informed the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office that the bullets would match the fatal the fatal round. The investigators wrote a report and logged the evidence, but did not give it to the defense. They buried it, Spiral said. Well, you all had your hands in the cookie jar from the sound of it.
Yeah. She's rotting in jail, and Alec Baldwin's going out there with his crocodile tears.
Yep. And wasn't that something that we even said, that she may even turn out to be the person that takes the fall for Alec Baldwin a few months back?
Mm-hmm.
Morrissey is a private defense attorney who was appointed by District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwies to prosecute the case. Our goal from the beginning was to seek justice for Helena Hutchins, and we fought to get this case tried on its merits. Carmack Altwies said in a statement, "We are disappointed that the case did not get to the jury."
My apologies, I didn't mean to interrupt, but notice what they sat back in there. She's a private defense attorney who was brought in to prosecute this case. That what that reeks of right there. Oh, we'll bring somebody on the outside to help hide. But the thing is, again, she's a private defense attorney. Who's going to want to hire her now? I wouldn't.
No chance in hell.
She up her career.
On that,
Go ahead, Patriot.
On that, Baron, if she's a private defense attorney, which means that she got paid by somebody. Now, if she's got the right connections, okay, it won't matter. It won't matter one bit. Because you don't bring in a private defense, because this is a state thing. So the state has its own people to handle this.
Right.
Which means that the whole, when I mentioned earlier about calling up to several high-level Democrats within the New Mexico government, okay, you're telling me that they're not like, hey, you're a private defense attorney? You know what? Here's a check for $500,000. We need you to help out the prosecution on this. Take the lead on this. If she's got the right connections, it don't matter if she lost this case or not.
Well, yes and no. Again, this is New Mexico. They promise a lot of things, right? These crooked people promise a lot of things, but they're more than happy to toss them aside. And that's exactly what's going to happen to this lady. You are a useful idiot. We hope that you enjoy the money that you got here because you'll never see money like that again. They won't say that to her face. She's an idiot for believing them. But no, those people, because she's a danger, because she knows too much, they're going to make sure that her career is absolutely destroyed and that she's nothing and no one will listen to her. She is done for. That was one of the great things about bringing this outsider, naive moron in. They don't have to destroy one of their own. They can destroy her. And our people will not suffer for it. That's New Mexico. There is no loyalty when it comes around to this. It might work in other states, other cities in those states. But this woman's career is fucked. People won't go to her. And all the people that she was promised that would use her in the future, well, only an act of desperation, or if they need someone to be the patsy again. She's an idiot. She really is. Again, another reason why I would never have her as my attorney. You're that gullible, you should know better. This is New Mexico. Yes, I am calling you a bunch of crooked fucks because you are. I'm talking about the government, not necessarily people. Some of the greatest people live there. Some of the
nicest people I've ever met live in New Mexico.
They will take their shirts off their back literally for you. I know that for a fact because my grandfather was in a situation where a complete stranger utterly went completely out of their way to help him when he was having car problem. And I'm talking about traveling like an hour and then traveling an hour back with the necessary tools to help fix his vehicle. So yeah, the average person there, beautiful, wonderful people. It's just the people you vote in are despicable fucks. What am I up to, Jace? Am I doing a good job? Am I beating you?
You just might be.
Don't challenge me, Jace. I'll make you cry. Not in a good way.
He's keeping a silent tally. He'll let you know in DMs after.
Well, no, what he's going to do is he's going to be like this judge and say, "Oh, some of these got lost, so he's corrupt. He's a Norwegian. You can't trust these people."
No, what'll do? There'll be a last minute overnight dumping of fucks dumped into the counter. 9,422. When did I know I said a lot.
What did that happen?
Yeah.
But Jace will then sit back and say, "It's still less than me."
Yeah.
He's gonna make it look good, but still come out ahead. That's how the corruption works, man. That's how the corruption works. Yeah. But no, this judge should never have been, especially when she put herself on the stand. The moment you did that, you're no longer a judge in there, and you should be disbarred. By the way. So who was judging when she was on the stand? There was no judge.
Nope. I mean, that was one of the first questions that crept into my mind. Well, who was acting as judge during that time?
Well, her.
I know that. I know that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, as it goes, it's like, but that's like, playing hide and seek with yourself. You know where you are.
I mean, has our justice system gotten that bad? I know what you were saying, Baron. New Mexico has a history of this, but has our justice system gotten that bad where we just let judges ask themselves questions and not even bat an eye about it?
Yes.
Well, again, going back to the man who almost lost his life the other day. Look at the absolute shit show kangaroo court they put him through. And everyone sits back that has a brain goes, what the hell is this all about? This is illegal. This shouldn't be happening. This is a witch hunt. So yeah, it has. And of course, that was in New York. Again, they weren't disguising it. No. They're just hoping that their usual drones will just go in and follow along like sycophants and drooling at their from the mouth, going, yeah, you got the Trump. You got him. Any means necessary. Oh, but that didn't happen, so they had to go their way of doing any means necessary. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's that corrupt. Welcome to the Follow Rome, people.
Mm-hmm. Let me just get Patriots links in there real quick, and then I'll continue reading this.
What, huh?
One moment, folks.
He is really working hard to take over for Cash. Should I send the message to Cash, or do you want to send the message to Cash that he's not needed anymore?
Well, one of us is going to have to break the news to Cash, and
I know
it better be me. Better be me.
I was going to say Phil.
Oh, you kidding? Phil will be smiling with glee.
Yeah. It'd be fun to watch. I want to be there. I want to be there when it happens too. Yeah. You're fired.
Yeah. Guess what, Cash Money? You've been fired from Pop Talk. Now you only get Diet Pop Talk.
Yeah. You know Trump's favorite phrase for the longest time? Yeah. You're fired.
How much do you want to bet that Cash is listening to this right now, even though he hasn't commented? He's just listening.
He is. He's going, you goobers.
He's just there weeping uncontrollably. Got a paper bag to help him with his breathing. It's like,
I don't have Discord. I've got to fire up Discord here because he might be firing something off in Discord. You goobers.
Yeah, quit eating the lead paint chips, guys.
Yeah. No, I don't see anything in there.
Yet.
Not yet.
Well, he knows your aversion to Discord during the show, so.
And the article goes on to say Jennifer Burrow, the president of the New Mexico Criminal Defense Lawyers Association, said Morrissey's failure to turn over evidence was egregious. It's her job to make sure everything was disclosed, Burrow said. It's not her job to decide what's relevant for the defense or not. In court on Friday, Morrissey called the issue a wild goose chase and argued that investigators had decided years earlier that test rounds were not a match and thus had no evidentiary value. Morrissey argued, Morrissey argued that even if they were a match, that would only support the prosecution's theory of the case and would have no impact on Baldwin's guilt or innocence. Wrong. It's a lie.
Yeah, wrong. As Trump would say, fake news.
Brian J. Panish, the attorney who represents Hutchins' widower, Matthew, said in a statement that Baldwin may yet face a trial in civil court. That's right.
Yeah.
We respect the court's decision, he said. We look forward to presenting all the evidence to a jury and holding Mr. Baldwin accountable for his actions in the senseless death of Helene Hutchins. Matthew Hutchins settled a civil lawsuit against Baldwin and the Rust producers in October 2022, but in March, Variety reported that the production still had not made the required payments. At the time, his civil attorneys said they were considering their options, which included restarting the civil proceedings or filing a new lawsuit. I wouldn't be surprised if they filed a new lawsuit altogether.
I think it's going to be across the board, including the judge. The judge is not immune to this, especially for her actions she had in there. And, you know, I have to sit back and say, this guy is freaking classy. He is. I'm not just saying that, I'm not being mocking, because, you know, he went out there and said we respect the decisions of the court. My word. You know, that's not what he was thinking. That was not how he is feeling. But yet, he went out there and was very... Would diplomatic be the wrong word? I don't think so.
He took the high road.
He took the extreme high road. Unlike the judge, Alec Baldwin, and this prosecutor hack, that useful idiot that they put in.
Goes on to say Santa Fe County Sheriff Ed Mendoza, whose agency investigated the case for more than a year, said in a statement that he respects the outcome. I respect Judge Marlo Summers' decision, Mendoza said. This has been a difficult case from the beginning. Our focus was always to bring justice to Helena Hutchins and her family. Well, you can do so in civil court, because a civil case is more than likely to follow.
Yeah. Hey, what's good for OJ is good for Alec.
Yep.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because I think it starts going to the area of double indemnity, but I can see it.
I can see it happening too.
Yeah, I didn't agree with it with OJ, even though even though they bungled that case up like you can't believe. Fuck you, Judge Ito. But you know, they set the precedent, so I'm sure you were rooting for it too, Alec. You thought that was the greatest thing. Well, congratulations. What goes around comes around goes around, or goes around comes around, or whatever. You see, I wish I could do a Trump impersonation. Yeah. I'm more like close to the Biden. I'm closer to the Biden. You know, the thing. You know, they had that thing.
Baron Orman Tag's a bad dude.
Yeah, I'm a bad dude. Yeah. The cash pop. He's a bad dude. You know, and you know, I got hair that turns blonde in the sunlight, and my dogs like to rub against it.
Patriots are rolling his eyes right now.
No, I'm just trying to figure out. Let's see. Hey, come on, man. You know the thing, and China national depression, and the blonde hair with the sharks, and the and I'd like to introduce our next president, Darth. No, sorry. That's Star Trek. What time is it? Gosh, I'd really go for some ice cream right about now.
Nappy.
How's that sound? About right?
Jill, it happened again, Jill, it happened again. I need your help, Jill. I did the squat, and something squirted, Jill. I did the squat and it squirted. Jill, I need your help. I feel sorry for the secret agent services that got to change his.
Why are my pants all wet and squishy? And why does it smell like we... Listen, you know what? When I become president, there shall be no more sewage plants, sir. We are literally in the middle of nowhere. Well, still.
Well, even in his big boy conference on Thursday, he said, I've got to talk to the commander-in-chief. You are the commander-in-chief!
Yeah. Well, in this whole situation, you'd think that Biden would care a little bit more because his vice president, someone tried to take out his vice president. who's very capable of being president. Vice President Trump. I don't know about you, but I would be upset if my vice president that happened to my vice president. Come on,
I
bud.
just remember I was going to trivia night with my parents at a local sports bar, and and this is this is what he said. And I'd like to introduce the president of Ukraine, President Putin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I almost hit the ground laughing. I'm like,
yeah.
My brain was breaking.
Yeah. And that was at a conference that he was late to. And I love the Italian president and their eye rolling, waiting for him and doing the pretend looking at the imitation watch. And then, of course, she noticed she was on camera and she kind of stopped it. But yeah, I mean, and the people that she was with were also kind of in the same way. They're checking their phone. See, of course, that being late, right, made him late for his big boy press conference. Well, how can you be a big boy then? You're late.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I mean, here's the thing at the end of the day, okay, is that, again, if you love or hate Trump, the man literally had to have his balls wheeled out ahead of him because they were just that massive, okay? Like, the man was literally just shot, okay? And the first thing he does is do a freaking fist, like, in the air, screaming, fight, 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 okay? And
well, to be fair, it was like the second thing. He got his shoes first, which I can understand. You don't want to be barefoot, and then he did the fight.
well, and then well, here's the thing. Here's the thing in this whole thing, and this is where, honestly, this is where pop culture meets reality, is because you have people like Alec Baldwin, okay, who's been in many a great movie, okay. He played Jack Ryan. Honestly, one of his favorite roles that I love him in is Jack Ryan in Hunt for the Red October.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love him in that role. So, but the problem is that a lot of these actors and actresses, George Takei, Mark Hamill, they exist within our pop culture. Without them, we wouldn't have certain elements of pop culture. We just wouldn't. So as some people could say, well, Baron and Mike and Patriot, you guys shouldn't be talking about politics. This is about pop culture. No. See, back in the day, if you're talking the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, prior to social media, yes, I would agree with you. Politics and pop culture were kept apart. But once social media entered the fray, that's when a lot of our pop culture icons decided that, hey, I got a First Amendment right to say whatever I want, and that's when pop culture and politics merged.
Right.
You cannot dismiss the two ever again. You cannot.
We can't ignore it, because whenever we're reading an article, we're finding out why certain characters are put in, why certain casting decisions are made, why certain writers are hired.
Right. And the thing is, Hamill and those others are right. I got my First Amendment right to go out there and shoot my mouth off with stupidity. But you know what? We also got the same right, which they don't like. They want to get rid of free speech, except for them, to mock them, call them what they are, a bunch of idiots, a bunch of morons. We have the right to sit back and say, fuck you. And eat it, like I said, I wouldn't say this to Jerry Chakai about eating a bag of dicks, but Mark Hamill, eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah. and real quick before we do wrap up here, I just wanted to show something that somebody posted saying that this was from the flag at Trump's rally yesterday, and what does it look like?
Yeah.
And that's the one thing they're abhorred with, that there's so many Christians, because again, notice they say the same thing about those who are Christian, with the same vile things that they said about Trump. and almost right to the point that let's do harm to them. Look at the church shootings that we've had that they try to keep quiet about, but they're there, right? I'm not talking about black churches. I'm talking about all churches, in synagogues too. Look at the violence that I mean, when I was elder in my church and seeing all these measures of security, it's like, wait a moment, we're a church. We shouldn't have to have this. But the fear of someone coming in and doing harm, because we also had a school. Still, I don't go to that church anymore. No, I went back to the one I grew up in. Again, it was no animosity or anything. It's just I had the ability to go back to the church I grew up in, even if it is 20 some miles away, compared to just down the hill. But they have a school, and it's like, well, we have to protect the kids. We have to protect all that because anybody could come in and do this, even in our outer outskirts town of the Twin Cities. And it's like, no, the church shouldn't have to do this.
No,
and many
they
churches
shouldn't.
And this is a place of refuge, spiritually and sometimes even physically a refuge, because we had it that people who were homeless would come in and stay in our basement and feed them and try to give them help. And then their church would take them in because it was all part of that little circuit to try to help these people out and try to find them places to work and abilities to stand on their own, not just going out and giving a pity party and looking good. It was absolutely for real. And it's like, it's a refuge for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
It
sanctuary.
certainly is.
It's a reason why it's called a sanctuary. Which, of course, they never want to talk about us doing. They want to sit back, oh, you say all this stuff, but you don't do it. Excuse me? Bitch, please. You just don't know about it because it never gets reported. And it's also one of the other things. It's not something we go out there beating our chest on saying, look at us, how great we are. Because Christ the Lord admonished those that were doing that in the temple, making a big show of all the money they were giving to but it was the one widow who didn't have much money to live on, quietly putting in the mite, which was a low amount of money. But for her, it was a fortune. But she was being modest about it. She was doing it right. No, when you go out and do charity, you don't go out there and make a big show of it if it's true charity.
Mm-hmm.
You're quiet about it. You're not looking for accolades. Not like these, Bill Gates. I'm giving all this money to this college, and it's going to have my name on it, or whoever else does that. It's the so and so wing. Well, what importance to education are they? Did they supply papers, research? What? No, they're the ones that gave the most money.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you don't hear about it because it's not advertised.
Yep. No, I mean, and that's the thing at the end of the day is that you can consider these my closing thoughts on the whole thing if you want to or not. I don't know. It's up to you. But here, I really want people, you're listening to the stream and, we've had some laughs, we've gotten, a little testy and emotional, all sorts of stuff. But here are some takeaways I really want people to really contemplate and think about, okay? 1, when people say God doesn't exist or anything, I point to yesterday. Now, there's many other examples I could probably come up with, but more and more and more information's coming out about yesterday, and literally the specific series of events that happened shouldn't have gone the way it did yesterday. It should have been far worse, and it wasn't. Right. So people can knock religion all they want, but if you're a religious person, and I mean truly religious, not just you say it, but you actually live it to some manner or degree, you know that you've experienced stuff in your life that you just can never explain. You can't fathom how certain things happened. Now, that's one. Just literally, there are other forces at play here. Two, I want everyone to keep cool heads. We don't know all the information yet. There's going to be investigations. Some investigations we might not agree with. We might not agree with the results. We might say it's a cover-up or this or that, and you could very well be right. But right now, what the people who wanted this to happen, they want a response, and not just verbal. They want physical response.
They want violence.
They want violence. They want somebody to say, "This is for Trump," and then go into a local DNC place and blow it up or firebomb it or shoot it or something. You know, they want that kind of stuff to happen. They want a physical, visceral reaction. Now, I get it. Trust me, my thoughts were very dark yesterday. Okay, I'm sure Baron and Mike could say something similar. Our thoughts were not very happy thoughts. Okay, they were probably very dark, violent thoughts.
I called Cash and Baron.
Yeah,
talk with them to not just calm myself down, but try to calm them down too.
Yep.
Think logically about this.
You got Cash out of bed. He didn't fully know what was going on. What's going on, you goobers?
Yep. So, and that's the thing, everybody, is one, whenever some people talk about God, don't roll your eyes. Because I could show you several things and experts and experts that have been interviewed since that have all said, by all accounts, Trump should be a dead man. By all accounts. You know? So that's one. Two, keep a calm head. I know people are pissed off. I know people want answers. They want to come up with theories and all this stuff. Okay, great. But keep a cool enough head, okay? Let the anger, let everything subside. Anger's not a bad thing. But taking it from an emotion to a reaction can turn it into a bad thing. So just keep cooler heads. And three, again, we need to really have a serious check on our own. Holy crap. Yes, thank you. Okay, once I'm done. Okay, I know. I got the card. Sorry, family member. So, yeah, I mean, right there, that says it all. And then number three, in my head. Oh, yeah. So number three, I would encourage everybody to start speaking boldly. Okay, we know right now that the forces that don't want Trump, don't want anybody from the right, they want this country to keep going the way it is. So don't be afraid to speak boldly. Don't. All right, because here's the thing: I heard somebody say this best. Okay. And they use it in a more political aspect, but I'm going to kind of rearrange the wording a little bit. Imagine if you had three people, okay? You had somebody who was speaking violence and whatnot, somebody who's speaking pacifism, and somebody who's keeping a cool head, okay? Well, the pacifist and the cool head person, they're going to be debating about who's going to pick up the sword that's sitting amongst the three of them. And while those two are debating, the person speaking violently is going to take that sword and cut off their heads.
Yep.
Now, the metaphor goes for this. There's nothing wrong with wanting cool heads to prevail, but you also need to be able to speak truth at the same time. Speak it. If there's somebody out there who's acting like an idiot, call them. Hey, you're acting like a fucking idiot, and back it up. Hey, you
don't be afraid to call something out. If something seems rotten, call it out.
It is.
Yep. So that's kind of the three things. Is one, never discount divine miracles happening. When people talk about God, even if you're agnostic, atheist, Muslim, Hindu, Wiccan, don't care. If a Christian or somebody who's religious says God had his hand on Donald Trump, don't be like, yeah, right. Because if I could start showing you evidence where you'd be like, okay, yeah, there was definitely something else going on there. You'd say that after I presented the evidence, if you were truly an honest person. Yeah.
And Tim, no disrespect. I know you're saying that to be funny, but yesterday, a lot of people started waking up to the truth.
Yep. Oh, and here's the thing about that is when you can't handle the truth. If I were to show you a lot of my Twitter debates and Twitter back and forth, that statement is so true. A lot of people cannot handle the truth because it literally will break their narrative. Their little pre-programming in their head.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I said my piece.
You're so
no problem, brother. No problem, Baron. If there's anything you'd like to say before we go, or if you want to promote something,
me. But okay. Basically promoting what and seconding what the good old Smoking Patriot said here. Again, I just want to point out when there's a disaster that happens out there, when something bad happens and the donations come in, the most amount comes in from the dreaded, evil, horrible Bible-built flyover country, the places that all of our snooty, rich limousine liberals and when I say that, I mean leftists, sit back and say, is horrible, but yet we're the ones that also buy their movies or books or listen to their music. But the highest donations come in from the Midwest, not these rich people out there, not the left coast, or not the Atlantic coast, New York, New Jersey area, DC, all the rich hotspots there, LA, San Francisco, all that. Not from there. Not the ones that go out there and beat their chests. It's the people who are quietly doing it in the Midwest, many of which are Christian and faithful, are even, let's say it, Jewish. And now with with more people coming in from those countries, Islamic, because charity is a big tenet in Islam, which a lot of people don't know or don't realize. But it comes from that, and basically it's coming at a true sacrifice. Yeah, normally we would go out and do something, but we can't do it now because we're going to be giving this to for this fund to help these people that are in a bad shape, and even noted and loud and proud atheist as Penn Jillette even had to contend that, when it comes around to this stuff, Christians are far better people. And this is coming from Penn Jillette. He said it. It hasn't converted him, but he notes the difference between the one and the other. So, you're wanting now. The only conspiracy I uttered out today is the Baldwin case, and of course, rightly so, because that one just absolutely it reeks even worse than the Trump trial. Let's put it that way. But as I sat back and said, I do not blame people for having that conspiratorial thought, and there's nothing wrong with that. But they're not going to get the one result they're expecting. You're not going to be seeing the quote-unquote evil, horrible MAGA Republicans going out there, taking up arms and causing issues. Now, if Trump would have died, that might have been a little different, because I saw the people yelling and hollering at the press that was there. If Trump would have died, I wouldn't want to be one of those press people there. Let's just put it that way.
No.
Because he was placing a lot of blame, and you know what, rightly so, on those journalists, quote unquote journalists, jokes of journalists, journalists in name only. But even in that heat of the moment, all it was these people yelling at the press. And then, the police officers came down and said, come on, we gotta go now, calm down now, which is, good for that. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
I don't know about Mike. I'm not going to speak for him, but yesterday when we were all talking, it was, I mean,
I admit it to you, I was scared for the country.
Yeah,
I'm legitimately scared for this country.
Right, and that was basically the topic of the conversation and what was happening and finding out more what was going on. Not let's go out there and get Biden and his boys. No, not at all. And we even sat back and said, if this happened to Biden, we'd be just as pissed.
It's why I said pray for the nation. I didn't say pray for Trump. I didn't say pray for Biden. I said pray for the nation. Because the whole nation needs it right now.
Yeah. Absolutely right. And that was our take on the whole thing. And of course, calling various people, fuck you and bullshit to the ones that were going out there and putting literally their fake news. Oh, your headline, just by seeing those headlines, seeing what CNN would put out right away. Oh, the Secret Service interrupted Trump's speech. Oh, come on. You know what happened. You have people on the ground.
But CNN calling it firecrackers.
Yeah. BB guns. People going out there saying that this is a hoax. Right away, saying it's a hoax.
Staged. That was one of the things that was trending on X. Staged.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And no, but then again, we start the news starts coming out of a man losing his life, a wife being a widow, a child losing her father, right? And I don't know if he had even more kids than that. I mean, but we saw that one. It looked like for her 20th birthday. Young woman just started out in her life. Now she lost support, emotional and all of that support for starting out her life on her own.
Yeah. Again, like Patriot said in the beginning, she'll never experience walking down the aisle with her father.
Yeah. She needs to talk to her dad about something. It's dad, because let's face it, even young ladies still need advice from the father figure, her father, and she can't go to him for that no more. She's looking at her phone and seeing that that button, Dad, and she knows that she can't press that button. No, she can do it, but he won't be there. And she might keep that on there for the rest of her life, as long as she has that phone and a lot of those call lists, because she probably won't be able to do it. It'd be too hard to take that name off.
Yeah. Well, I could speak for myself. I still have my mom in my phone.
Yep.
I haven't removed her number, and I won't.
And like I said, I have,
and this is what I'm hoping for that gentleman's daughter, that she still has voicemails that she never gets rid of. That she keeps them, she backs them up, so when she needs to hear her father's voice, she can play those voicemail messages to hear his voice.
Videos that she would have filmed with her phone and have out there. Definitely happier times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably sitting back really regretting the times that she was rebellious and said certain things to her dad. Creeping in there and attacking her. I mean, we did a lot of fuck youing just like I did today. And like I said, I am a devout Christian. My weakness is my filthy mouth and being a dirty old man. But I'm still a Christian. We all have our faults. We all have our faults, right? And it's like, well, if I keep it to that, at least that's better than the alternative of other things, But, as such, I don't know where I was going to go with that. This hurts. This hurts across the board. And we said a lot of fuck yous last night, especially to the media for their handling of this. My God, you have to go overseas to see. You have to see NHK from Japan. I haven't seen Aryang yet. But I'm sure that'll be an interesting newscast. And Sky News Australia. Yeah, I know. It's right wing, right? Don't deny it. But the thing is they're hitting it more, and they're going after those journalists and the others that were saying these nasty things. And you're right. The media does have blood on their hand.
There was a gentleman at that rally, and there's video on X that you can find where he's looking at the media and he's screaming, "You're responsible for this. You're responsible for this. You're responsible for this."
Yep. That's the one where the police had to take him away.
This is on you.
Yeah. The officer coming there to try to calm the situation. And that was a lot of people's thoughts there. I mean, already Trump supporters don't like the media because of how they have been portrayed in the media. But if this is the only thing you got out of a bunch of people out there that were royally pissed off, right, was a man yelling at them, things didn't go your way, whoever wanted to see this blow up to be larger. Even if it was the guy that got blown away that caused all that. That was his goal. And not only take Trump out, but to cause a big smear on his supporters. Fuck you, by the way, Shooter.
Burn in hell, asshole.
You're here.
Yeah. And, if that's the worst you got, don't you fucking go around telling me that Trump supporters are nothing but a bunch of racist, hateful people that only want bloodshed. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. Fuck you all to hell. Fuck you. May Satan termites invade your anus for the rest of your life. Fuck you. Fuck you. And you know what? I got to follow through it. It's like, be careful what you ask for. Be careful what you ask for, because you know what? It can come back and bite your ass. Your projections, your slander, your lies. Fuck you all. You're disgusting human beings.
Again,
Absolutely
it goes back to what I said earlier in the stream. Look for other media sources, sift through that information you're getting, and make your own determination after you've read everything. And question everything you read. Question everything you see. Question everything you hear.
Right. Remember, we're supposed to be the people. What happened to liberals being the ones don't trust authority? Now you have your tongues up their asses, and we're the ones saying don't trust authority. We have to keep our eye on them. We have to make sure they behave. And that includes the Fourth Estate.
Yeah.
The Fourth Estate is not above criticism. They think they are. They think that if you criticize them, if you question them, that you're violating freedom of speech. No, that is freedom of speech. Question everything.
Don't just accept everything at face value.
If you do, then you're nothing more than a drone, a zombie, a worthless piece of shit. If you go out and vote because you're told to vote that way, you're a useless piece of shit. You ain't thinking.
Do your research on any candidate. I don't care if there's an R in front of them or a D in front of them or an I, whatever.
Right.
Do your research.
You don't like Trump, be it that you come to that conclusion for your reasons, not because your union told you, not because you were told by your daddy, because FDR got us out of the Depression. And that goes the same way with the Republicans. We always vote R because our family always done that way, so I blindly vote that way. Fuck you. It's supposed to be better than that.
Again, like I said at the beginning of the stream, you don't like Trump? The best thing you can do is go to the ballot box on November 5th and vote for your guy. And if you like Trump, vote for Trump. I already said who I'm voting for come November. And I'm not changing my mind on that.
Yeah, more now than ever. And like I said before, I think I said on the show, I was a never Trumper.
I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I didn't vote for Hillary in 2016. I didn't like either one of them.
Hey, Tim, shh, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up, especially to George Takei. Don't bring that up because it was his people that put him in the camp. Yeah, don't. Let's not forget the Germans and even some Italians. Don't bring that stuff up. No. George likes to bitch about that all the time. Well, look who did it. You piece of shit.
You know, the actions from yesterday made this concerned citizen decide who he's going to vote for.
Yeah, I'm not going to be ashamed to say this. I was already committed to it. This only solidifies it even harder. Someone's going to go to that length to silence him. And yes, because of the media, because of their lies, because of their slander, and not just on Trump. I'm talking about average people. Average people. People like me. I'm average. I'm a loud mouth, but I'm
average American. I'm an average everyday American. Patriots and average everyday American. We're all average everyday Americans, those of us who live here in the States.
Yeah. Cash, Crit, Phil. I mean, I don't think there's any one of us who you consider, quote unquote, elite. We're average. Loud and opinionated, but average.
Yep. As Thomas Rhett once said in a song, I'm an all-American, middle-class white boy.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm going to say this. There's nothing wrong with being that. Because that's even being demonized. That form of racism. I don't call it reverse racism. No. Racism is racism. It doesn't matter. If you're vilifying someone because of their ethnicity, their color of their skin, it doesn't matter what it is. That's racism. That's pathetic. That's hate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually the words that come out of their fucking mouth when they want to criticize. Oh, they're just a bunch of white people. It doesn't matter. They're white people. And this is coming out of the mouth of a white person.
Typically it is. Typically it is. But, gentlemen, I think now's a good time to wrap up this edition of Pop Talk. Yes, it was different from what we usually have, but you know what? That's how it's got to be.
Now that I shadow banned them off of YouTube.
Aaron, what did I tell you guys? I said I don't care if we talk about this the whole stream. I don't care.
I know. It's just a joke, though. At least we got Rumble. I love you, Rumble.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do want to thank Raven Gaming for following the channel earlier. Really appreciate it. And as far as what's coming up on Pacific414, there's going to be 2 game streams this week. It's going to be Metroid Prime Remastered, and then, of course, Wednesday's Pop Talk is going to be an additional Pop Talk where we allow you to select the pop culture and entertainment articles that we are going to discuss. Now, for that episode, yes, we did get into politics on this episode, but for good reason. But on that episode, if there is any political article that you want to discuss, for Wednesday. We can discuss it on Rumble, but I will also make a waiver that we can't discuss it when we're on Rumble and YouTube.
Oh, and
You have,
no acolyte.
yeah, please, no acolyte.
You will be booted if you bring that up. I will do it personally.
I'll time him out. I'll time him out.
Oh, you're nice. I'm not. I'm full fledged. You're out the door. You go. Oh, hey, what happened to smoking?
he got booted by StreamYard.
Oh. And you know what, Tim? I think I can speak for Mike for this. We don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. If I cared, I would have said to Patriot and Baron, we'll only address what happened yesterday a little bit, and then we'll get on with the topics we were going to discuss, which, if you want to read those articles, they're still in the description below if you want to read them. But after what happened yesterday, it's like, nope, we need to talk about real life stuff. That's more important.
And, I think also one thing I want to do before we go quickly, I hate to rush through this, but rest in peace, Shannon Doherty. Rest in peace, Dr. Ruth Westheimer. Rest in peace, Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons.
And sorry, I have a mental block on the name of the young lad who was on Elf, who died of heat stroke. Rest in peace. These people were
Benji Gregory. Benji Gregory.
That's what it was. Benji Gregory. I was figuring something, Benji something, but it's the last name that was escaping me. But
I know you didn't know this, Baron, because I didn't tell you ahead of time, but I was gonna mention them. But I also want to send my condolences to the family of the gentleman who lost his life yesterday at the rally. I also want to send my condolences to the families of the victims who were wounded at yesterday's rally.
Yeah.
On behalf of the Pop Talk family, on behalf of Pacific414, you have our sympathies, and we are there for you.
This is going to sound odd, but I do have sympathy for the shooter's family, because they probably didn't share this kid's view. This kid going out there and doing this, which is going to tear their family and their lives apart. Because sometimes that's exactly what happens. They go out there and the family suffers for it. So,
and I want to answer Tim's question. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing lawsuits.
Oh yeah. And don't kid yourself. They probably might be going after the government for the piss poor coverage that they had for protection.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wouldn't doubt if some of the press is going to get it, especially with their reporting of this.
Yes. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your support of this Pacific414 channel, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble. We appreciate it. I'm sorry we couldn't stream on X, but X was having some issues on the StreamYard side. But I am grateful to each and every one of you for tuning in to Pop Talk on Sunday and Wednesday, and also tuning into the game streams. It does mean a lot to me. It means a lot to those of us on the panel. Patriot, my friend, thank you for accepting my invitation to join us today. I know it turned out to be a very different edition of Pop Talk than it ever has been in the past, but stuff like this cannot be ignored. It should not be ignored. It should be discussed amongst our fellow citizens in a civil manner.
Oh, and spoken, I sorry, I have to sit back and say this. Due to your performance on this episode, you will not be replacing Cash. He'll be coming back on Wednesday.
I'll make that final determination there.
Well, Mike, as always, it's always an honor being here, and I always I always graciously accept the invite because it's a cool group of dudes here, and you know, it's always an honor to hang out with them. I know I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad you said that we were talking about this today because I only read through one or two of the articles, and then after the events of yesterday, I didn't read the rest of them. So kind of glad because I would have had to bullshit my way through the rest of the stream.
Well,
so,
I never read the articles.
That's fine because as you see, I didn't even bother to change the thumbnail.
No, I know. So I'm like, whew. I'm like, thank you, Mike, because that was, you know, I would have had to really stick my foot in my mouth potentially.
It's
but yeah,
like
no,
I said,
it was
talking about these events is far more important than, you know, whining and bitching about what they're doing to Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that.
What?
I
what are they doing? What are they doing?
What aren't they doing? But no, I agree. And honestly, I think that I think, Mike, like that's kind of a reason why, you know, Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers took off even more in popularity because he had all these thoughts and opinions about stuff that'd be happening, whether in political or in other stuff that he didn't want to talk about on his gaming side. That's why he created Cobra Cast to talk about this stuff. And I think people had a great respect for him. You know, obviously a lot of haters, obviously, but I think it is good to have these streams on occasion when there's something significant enough in outside of pop culture. I think it is important because sometimes we can get so lost in pop culture that when anything happens, we're just like, well, that's not my realm. Someone else can talk about it. Oh no, that's not my realm. Someone else can talk about that. Well,
yeah.
Why?
That's not
you
us.
Have your own thoughts. You have your own opinion. Even if you're wrong, people can say, hey, you're wrong because of X, Y, Z. And you'd be like, you know, I need to look this up. I've seen this on live streams many times.
Yeah.
So, you know, nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all.
Well, that's honesty. That's honesty. And, you know, don't feel bad for not reading it. Like I said, I never read the articles or hardly ever read the articles before.
Yeah. Well, we usually give our fresh take right then and there after we've read the article on the show. Yeah. That's what I want for Pop Talk. I don't want us to have our preconceived notions as to what has happened. Now, with the Alec Baldwin one, I did read that ahead of time.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
Yep.
But
yeah, I mean,
even without reading it, when I saw the headline, I'm all, there's something rotten here.
I thought something was rotten when they had the same judge on there that dismissed the first time. So, but no, I mean, I like to have my honest reaction because when you read it, you shoot off that real, true feelings about the article, and then all you're doing is phoning it in later on. I mean, for me, that's how I am. I mean,
that's how I am about it too.
Yeah, I know other people can read an article and still be fired up and be giving that honest response. I fear that, you know, when I do that, I usually shoot my load. Oh boy, phrasing. With my rants beforehand, and when I get on the show, it's like it's not there. I'd rather, for positive or negative, I want my honest feelings to come across on the show, and I think I'm better for it myself as a human being. For doing it. Am I better for it for the show? I don't know. That's up to Mike to say. He still keeps me around, so I must be something useful.
Baron, where I start becoming the stuttering idiot, you had the voice of reason. You might throw a little spice into that reason, but it's needed.
Yeah. Because I'm spicy. Hear that, ladies? I'm spicy. Don't tell my wife that I said that, though, please.
And when we read the entire article, we're doing it so we have all the information, and so you have all the information. Because again, a lot of the times we're going into the article for the first time, just like you are.
Right. And if you cut an article out up a little bit and not get the whole article, boy, you can play games and twist things with it, just like our media does.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. The whole article is important. I know we've been criticized by some people for doing that, but it's like, no. How are you going to have an informed opinion, even on pop culture, if we don't do that? I mean, yeah, there's some articles that we did quit early because they're just absolutely gook word salad, and it was almost impossible to read. I mean, literally impossible. It's like, how do I say this sentence? Type of thing.
CCF Tech has had a few articles where I went, I didn't read in this caption. You can read it.
Yeah, or the one time we had the Mary Sue.
Yeah. We started mocking it.
Oh, I love mocking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard me. I love mocking it.
But folks, with that being said, real quick, I do want to say thank you to Kathy Skywalker for stopping by on the YouTube side, DJ Ronnie G, Jet Sparks, Prismatics, Jason Fox of 540 Studio.
Brother, I kid because I love, by the way. You know I pick on you because I love you, man. But not that way.
FKHC 2005, also known as Tim, thank you very much. Jay, thank you very much. Phil McCracken, thank you. The Padawannabe, thank you very much. Lorenzo Sleezak, thank you, Lorenzo. Over
coming in to prove our Alex Jones here, smoking trees here, that there are lizard people, so amongst us. So, thanks, Lorenzo.
I also want to thank over on Rumble, Muhammad MQ, and I also want to thank Rogue Raven Gaming for following the channel and also being there on the Rumble side as well. And with that being said, let me just check this one last comment from Phil. Of course you do, Phil. Of course you do.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we're going to leave you out like this. Take care, everybody.
We love you, people. We do. Even though you might not love us.
Every man, I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.